So say, ye knew about one intum, se kobase utim mani pamienu aircro. When Tima Mobia, anasa stampua, a money demon in Mwechri, entishani ye. Ye to a bunny ya, about one penny for Beshaka, a ban of Frenchim, or Besha about one crat ani dimu. No, I should say a kind of pepe, a bra party agents, any chiemu, air the echoes will be a. Onya, Kayo, se abatwa yi ma wakwanya, wodi be yakanifu a wo besi wanemu. Enti koto aba December 7th, na wonso kire wadwen. Wabatwo ye wo dachi. Kai se ye de kokromotie ne to aba, enye etuo ne asekan. Ye nhia kodie bia e wo polling station. Electoral Commission of Ghana ene de kase boyi bro.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Of the decision that we all will go to the polls to take in terms of helping us understand what we have to do until the process itself is over. Well, before I introduce the first guest to you, let me just remind you that with Buy Now, Pay Later with Metro, you can now buy a sleek and trendy smartphone and enjoy the luxury of paying in convenient weekly or monthly installment plans. All you have to do is walk into any of MTN service centers to choose your favorite from a wide range of mobile phones on offer. The best part is all phones come with up to 2 GB free data, so you can share your pictures and get all biggest scoops online for the first 6 months after purchase. Go on. Share the exciting news with your family and friends and stay connected on the smart side of life with MTN Metro. All right, also let me also remind you that this is your election central, and this December 7, from the long election queues to the bars on the streets, from ballot casting to votes, counting and live reportage from polling centers, analysis of the figures, Election Central from the Ignite Media Group is where you will find the pulse of the nation. Throughout this period, we've got you covered on all the insights and analysis from the studios at Ignite, comprising Metro TV, Original FM, and also our digital platforms. We have Metro TV Ghana on Facebook. We have Metro TV _GH on X and Instagram. And also, you can follow us on channel 277 DSTV. On the website is www.metrotvonline.com for your reading pleasure. Don't just follow the story on election 2024. Be a part of it. This is why I say that be a part in the voting process. Vote. This country, our nemesis are those of you who don't vote. Vote. So stay with Election Central, because when Ghana decides, the world watches, right? So we're leading in giving you, not just rushing in giving you data, but we're giving you the best and what you can actually deal with, the credible information. That's what we're leading with. Right, let me introduce my first guest to you this morning. We are actually leading the conversation with the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena, who has joined us already in the studio. And it will be a privilege, definitely, to have a conversation with him to start with. So we guide ourselves throughout this election process, right? And this is your Election Central. Mr. President, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you, thank you. Is it your first time coming into the studio? Oh, I'm sorry, your mic is off. Oh, sorry, your mic is off. All right, thank you, thank you.
No one was
hearing. Well, they could pick you, but very slightly.
Very slightly, yes. Okay. Then once again, good morning to your Sherry viewers, and I'm happy to be with you this morning. I think I've been coming here, but I can say that it's my first time utilizing the studio, your studios, and I hope that it's going to be an interesting conversation this morning. I love I love the setup.
Thank you.
It means that you are ready for business.
Very ready.
Yes, yes. I think
very ready, very exciting. We have
opportunity.
more studios here in this edifice. I'm not sure if you actually got the chance to tour.
No, I haven't toured yet.
The building. Well, I'm sure that the managers are standing by. They're waiting for you. When you finish, they'll take you through.
Yes,
because you need to know what we have here.
Of course.
As the president.
And
yes.
I'll make my observations also
yes.
known.
Yes.
But kudos to you for a good job.
Thank
I think
you.
that Metro has come to stay.
Thank you.
And for us, what we believe is that people like you, Randy, and everyone who has contributed in expanding the frontiers of the media must be commended. And we hope that professionalism stands and will be your hallmark here at Metro TV. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through. So let me also remind you that it's going to be a very comprehensive coverage, apart from what we have in the regions and the various, venues that reporters ask Quartet to be coming through with the numbers. We will also be giving you all the breakdown and analysis here in the studio, and then other studios and setup for this particular elections is very critical for you to understand when things are happening. Please come down with very sensational, information and reportage and how you take it, and that's how we're also going to handle it here. As and when, we definitely will give you all the breakdown that you need. You will see it as you stick with us. Officially, we're going to go launching this evening, and you definitely will have a chance to be a part of it. It will be exciting throughout the night and then into the morning. Then the voting activities will start. We'll go through with you all through to the end of the process. And then we begin to crunch the numbers that we now start putting together, do the comparisons in the previous election 2020, and then we'll see. Some predictions I'm sure will come, but the final one will definitely come from the Electoral Commission. All right, Mr. President.
Yes,
well, let me first start by asking how it has all been, our performance. What can you tell us? What can you rate us?
I'll say that so far so good. It hasn't been a smooth road. We've gone through a very bumpy system or rough road to get where we have gotten to. In the beginning, we were so much. I don't want to use the word afraid, but then we were anticipating a lot of recklessness and unprofessionalism and all that may have the tendency in throwing the country into despair. But I can tell you that the media, as we speak, has really discharged their work professionally, carried themselves so well that if today, a day to election, we are enjoying the peace. We are here, you and I are seated here at the studios of Metro TV. Good morning, Ghana. Ghana ourselves ready and prepared for the election day tomorrow. Then I can tell you that we have really, the media has really carried us well, and we have done so well, and needs to be commendable. Regardless, we know there's been few recklessness and unprofessionalism here and there, but I think that I've always re-echoed that, look, in as much as you expect us to promote and defend press freedom, we don't defend press freedom in vague. We always say that press freedom always comes with responsibility. So in as much as we defend press freedom, we are also ensuring media responsibility. And so if a media personnel, you are should I say, media practitioner, journalist, discharging your work during this period, let's be very, very circumspect. Let's be guided by the ethics of our profession. Regardless of where we stand, we know, and my dear, it is an open secret that, look, most journalists have aligned ourselves with one political party or the other. Now, what we are trying to say is that regardless of the political party you are or you are with, we are saying that shouldn't take the better part of you. Remain professional, because even the EC, the Electoral Commission, they voted, and now they are the referees. They are the ones peer in these elections, And so, do one say that they belong to party or B? Of course, your vote is your civic right. And as journalists, as we are seated here, we will all vote. I will vote, you vote. But that should be your privacy. That shouldn't affect the way you discharge your work. Because the fact that you expect a particular party, or you expect a political party to win the election because that's your wish, doesn't take the better out of you. You behave like a referee and not a judge in your own court. We are there to inform, which are our cardinal responsibility, our core responsibility, to inform, educate, and then to entertain. And so, before you can inform, you need to be well informed. Yeah. And so research is very key in whatever we do. Fact-checking is very key in whatever we put out there. And so once you are well informed, then we can also help shape the decisions of others, help shape the decisions of the citizens in the country. And so for me, so far so good. We have done well, and I hope that we'll sail through and we'll go through this period safely, because Ghana is all we have. We have the responsibility, the godly responsibility, to protect the peace and democracy we have enjoyed. Without the media, there's no democracy. And I always have said time without number that an attack on the media is an attack on our democracy. And so the media stands for democracy. And that is why when you look at the Constitution, the cardinal key thing expected of the media is to what? Is to defend, or is to deepen, let me put it that way, is to deepen our democracy, ensure good governance and accountability to the people. So how do we deepen democracy? We deepen democracy by shedding light on darkness. You understand? By sharing the policies of what? You see, we are the link between the governor and the governed. The people. And so we have a key responsibility in this election, and I can tell you that when you take out the Electoral Commission, the EC, the most important institution or body that Ghana or the citizens look up to is the media, and we cannot fail them.
I know that, Ghana Journalists Association is a body. It's not every media house in Ghana that is under that body. I'm not sure how you balance the equation. Should there be a media house that's not under the body and probably is, acting outside the code of ethics? How do you manage the situation?
I think we need to understand how the umbrella body works and what the Constitution says. The Ghana Journalists Association is the parent body of the media practitioners in Ghana. So you, your camera team, your presenters, your colleague journalists and practitioners here and all that fall under the Ghana Journalists Association. So the Ghana Journalists take care of the media practitioners and journalists in the country.
Yeah.
So
I, Annie here,
yes.
I paid dues. I'm a member.
Yes.
I paid dues.
Yes.
My media house also, and that is by how.
So I'm just explaining.
Okay.
If you get to understand. So the Constitution, when you look at the Constitution, chapter 12, and even the old Constitution, the two bodies or two, should I say, association recognized by the 1992 Constitution are the Ghana Journalists Association and Ghana Bar Association. It is for no reason why a whole chapter was dedicated to the media, the independence and the freedom of the media, and nobody can be an impediment on the way the media does its work and all that. Chapter 12 of the Constitution. When you read it, you get a lot of things from it. Now, we have GIBA, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. The media houses, that is the media houses, and its owners, is under GIBA.
Yeah.
So GIBA regulate the owners of the private electronic media. Yes, the GJA is responsible for its practitioners.
Yeah. The
journalists, those going to the ground, those going on the field to work and carry their job and all that, they are all under the watch of the GJA. And that is why, whenever you see a journalist come under attack, you don't hear anyone calling any institution.
But
you don't hear about the GJA. Why would they say that? And you don't also find anybody saying oh, maybe the person might not be even a member. The person might not even. Once the person is a journalist, everyone will be calling the GJ, because that is our constitutional responsibility.
Yeah.
To safeguard and protect the journalist, to ensure the safety, security, the welfare of journalists, and to enhance professionalism, to set standards and all that, to uphold and defend the good people of this country, and also to make sure that there are three. We always say we are the watchdogs of the people. What does it mean to be the watchdogs? And what right has the people got? There are two key rights, or two major rights enshrined in the Constitution. You have the human right and their civic right. And so, if the rights of the citizens is being infringed upon, it takes you and I to bring it to bear, to protect that right. And that makes us the watchdogs of their right. That makes us the gatekeepers. And so, this time around, as we get towards election, as we have less than 24 hours into the election, we are to re-echo the need for the citizen to understand their civic right, because that is our responsibility. The civic right of the people cannot be taken away from them. It is their right to vote. Your right to cast the vote is actually not negotiable, because it has been what? It has been enshrined in the Constitution, and it's your power. And so we do not, in terms when it comes to protecting journalists and safeguarding the work of journalists, and also ensuring safety and security of journalists, we do not care, we do not care about you being a member or not. There are some few benefits, maybe being a member, or maybe members in good standing like you can benefit. But then our responsibility cuts across. So
recently you held a presser recounting a number of, I would say, attacks on the media, and also the responsibility that's supposed to be carried out by the media as well, expecting that it goes both ways. What was the results you got from that after holding that press conference? Because I expect that if maybe some media personnel have been attacked, or media houses have been attacked, it will be followed with an action, maybe from the Ghana Police Service, to find out what's going on. Have you, DJ, yourself found out if these media houses have been compensated by what happened, or what happened to them, or some investigations ongoing? So we still feel that, well, we have some safety borders within which we're working. So
I think on the issue of the media and security and safety, or maybe attacks, yes, we have been. In fact, we have been re-echoing, and we have been talking about this over the years. Especially this year, we've been very keen on this, very keen on that. And my Annie, yes, of course, we held a press conference to shed light on some issues bordering on attacks on the media and journalists and all that, because we have been much concerned about how the security in this country, especially the Ghana police, has been treating issues relating to media, has been treating attacks on the media. Because, see, we all know, like we are saying, you see, a media plays crucial role, very key role in this country. Even in our democratic dispensation, the media contributes to national development, and like I keep saying, we serve as the bridge or link between the governor and the people. And so, if anybody wants to break that bridge, it should be the core, or it should be at the heart of the security or the police, to safeguard the bridge, to safeguard the link, to protect and make sure that the link or the bridge that serves between the people and the governor is not broken. But here we are, where you find the Ghana Police Service. And you see, and if I say this, I'm not referring to only Dan Paris administration. This has been a norm. It has been a tradition. It's been something we have been re-echoing. It's something we have been fighting. That look, the Ghana Police Service has not done enough to instill some kind of how do you call it, comfortability, or should I say to instill some kind of confidence in the media, because they are always swift and quick to arrest journalists or media for engaging in false news publication using their two obnoxious laws. They're always quick. the electronic communications law and that criminal law. They're always quick. Yet, they are not quick to go after perpetrators of attacks on the media. When the media comes and attack, when media has been assaulted and all that, look, over years, and I'll even, this one, I don't usually do this, but I'll commend even the current police administration led by Mpori, that even under his tenure, we have seen at least 2 prosecutions of attackers on journalists. One is the radio, Tamale, the Dagbon, whatever, FM in Tamale, yes, who was, the presenter was attacked by some, should I say, political, and then all that. And then another one is the UTV, the unlawful entry and attack on UTV
during a live program,
during a live program and all that. Even though we are really not, or we're not happy with the sanctioning, because we believe that the police could have actually preferred, should I say, stronger charges that would have warranted a more stronger and deterrent measures,
which is deterrent.
But then the police decided to prefer charges they feel that whatever that it is, at least justice was served, and at least they were fined and all that. That is commendable. But there are serious issues, serious attacks on journalists, issues which are still pending before the police until today. We have even written to request for the state of investigative report. We haven't gotten it.
On which one? Or general?
No,
every state of investigative report.
Number one, recently, at the beginning of the year, because we're in the election year, we were told, and as you know, we had an intel that look, some people were trying to siphon the media, to silence the media, to gag the media by targeting certain key media personnel who have been very critical of government. So, as soon as it came to our attention, we also did our fact check, decided to know where is this thing coming from. Before we say Jack, a journalist was attacked in Cape Coast. Cape FM journalist was attacked in Cape Coast by sympathizers of a political, should I say, actor, of a political animal, someone who is really respected in the society and is called Amor. Now, this issue came, complaint was made and everything, and that even forced us to take a very radical position or decision by blacklisting that political actor. You understand? And till today, in fact, let me comment that we have had results from these measures we took, the blacklisting and all that. Yes, because you now find the statesman, you now find an MP, you now find a minister of state now coming to us to call for a truce.
And apologize. I've seen a couple.
You saw it, coming to apologize and all that, and then at the end of the day, offering some kind of, should I say, rehabilitation package or compensation for the affected journalists and all that. Well, the police look unconcerned. The police, even with all the leads they have still not been able to arrest and prosecute anybody. And even if so, let us know the state of investigation. We were here in this country when a journalist, Ameswale, was murdered, and his issue has now become a court case. We will sit here and all these issues become court cases, because after some years they will just refer the case to the court case unit.
We even have the case of Radio Adan.
Radio Adan is there, and even aside the Radio Adan, my dear sister, we also have one case just recently. Is it petrol bombing at the Class FM? Class FM, yes. And we have the people on the motorbike and CCTV cameras. All these leads have been given to the police. Even without lead, the police when police mount surveillance. Look, let an officer of the police service be killed, be murdered, be attacked.
It would take just 24 hours to
24
find
hours
their
is too much.
assailant.
It's too much. I get to our police, we know how professional they are, we know how swift they are when it comes to some of these things. And so for the police to now look concerned on the security and safety of journalists and not be bothered about some of these things, and you come and then you assure us and tell us that we should be rest assured and that we are secure during these elections, you have been giving us the hope in the past. And so,
I mean, as president, do you get the feeling that the police is approbating and reprobating and not being hypocritical and applying selective justice to issues?
I don't think it's selective justice. It's a matter of giving prominence to attack on the media and journalists.
Yes, but I'm saying selective because in certain cases,
yes,
they act swiftly.
Absolutely, that's all. Then they have been, yes, and I agree with you. I think I concur. Because, see, the current IGP, we have a very good working relationship with him. You understand? He's my personal friend and brother. In fact, he calls me bro, I call him bro, and all that. And even among the executives, like my general secretary, we have a very good relationship with him and all that, all of us. And even the media coalition, we believe that the police can show professionalism and act swiftly when it comes to attacks on journalists and the media. This is where the police can win the full confidence and trust of the media. You see, we shouldn't hide behind maybe a few friends, the media, and then maybe should be shedding light on the good things we're doing and all that, and think that you have the confidence of the media. For me, as the leader, leading the charge as the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, my utmost responsibility is to protect, to ensure the safety and security of every journalist or every media practitioner, especially as we go to polls. And so I've been encouraging our members that look, honey, we need to live to tell the story. IFJ, one of the IFJ tenants will tell you, if I what they stand for, is as journalists, you must live to tell the story and not to become the story. Yeah. We don't need to become the story. And so I have said that we should take our personal security and safety very serious. Because from what we are seeing, it means that we are vulnerable. But you see, what people forget is that regardless, if a journalist dies, if you go after a journalist, there are thousands that will come after.
Yeah.
You can't silence the media because you target or by targeting maybe a particular journalist or whatever. We should make sure that we should rather see journalists as friends, we should rather see journalists as people who represent the ears, the eyes, and the mouth of the citizens. We represent it. We have weapons. Look, Annie, this is our weapon, this pen.
Yeah.
This microphone is one of our weapons.
Yeah.
And so, can you imagine what will happen in this country on election day? Generally decide as a form of maybe exercising our displeasures, or should I say as a form of, exercising our constitutional mandate to say that we are laying down our tools for even 3 hours on election day, and we are not, nobody,
blackout.
Yes, we are going blackout on the election process. Can you imagine what will happen?
Mm-hmm. Lack of information.
Apart from lack of information, can you imagine where the country will get to? Or what the citizens, we will turn the citizens into despair. And what happened, it may even end up chaotic. Because nobody will get to know what is happening, and another time people may say, then there's bad thing happening because the media has gone on a blackout. We shouldn't have to get to that level. In Senegal, a TV station was closed down by its communication authority. And as soon as the media bodies, the leaders of the umbrella bodies heard about it, quickly they summoned themselves. In fact, they convened a meeting and decided that, okay, in the next, from that day, which was the 12th day, to so and so date, we are not going to shed light on government policies. We are not going to publicize government memos, statements, communicate, and anything related to government business we are not going to do. Do you know, Annie, within 12 hours, the government of the day have to intervene, call the communication authority to reinstate, to reconnect, and then bring the television back on air. And again after that, engaged the leadership, apologized profusely, because that 12 hours, the pressure, the tension in the country, the pressure from the people, citizens, on the government, the venom that citizens was actually going to pour on the government, they couldn't have survived it. And so I think that we should respect the media. In these elections, when you take the Electoral Commission, the second most important institution body that Ghanaian, the people of Ghana, is looking up to ensure a peaceful, transparent, credible, free, and fair election is the media. Why? Because the Electoral Commission is talking about transparency, talking about credibility and all that. Without the media, how would they be transparent? The transparency is not only about having observers or having agents of the political parties, agents of political parties, but the transparency is the people, letting the people know whatever is happening.
So after the Electoral Commission came out with a release that it was going to restrict access to coalition centers, the GJ and other bodies actually sat with the Electoral Commission, and it had to go back on its words and open up.
Of course, you see, like we have said that nobody, the freedom, the constitutional right of the media to cover this election, tomorrow's election, is non-negotiable and cannot be suppressed by anybody. You and I cannot be gagged, cannot be stopped by anyone from discharging our constitutional mandate.
When you had a chance to sit with the Electoral Commission, did you know the Electoral Commission came to that conclusion, apart from its complaint about space? Is there any reason? I mean, I still cannot fathom understand how they thought they could do that.
You see, for me, like I said, I have the current Electoral Commission is, should I say, I have a very good working relationship with them, and I know them so well, especially its chairperson. I've worked closely. I've been a consultant to them and all that. I've told the people, in fact, even under my administration, they've even supported. I just last week to train over 80 journalists, across the country in credible election reporting, and so we have a good base. But then the question, and it's a very fantastic question. In as much as they might have grounds, in as much as we may understand where they're coming from. In fact, you see, to be very fair to them, they might have genuine reasons or whatever. But the question is that why fail to engage? You engage, and then we reach a decision or compromise before you come out. But you don't come out, you don't issue memo to your internal people, directing the regional district officers to do ABCD, for the memo to be leaked to the public, then before you engage in. At that moment, nothing works with us. Because you see, you don't come under backlash before engaging. If you engage from the beginning, you understand? And of course, some of the things they've said, we have even questioned it. We have even said that. But then, like I'm saying, regardless, they may have genuine concerns and genuine reasons. But I believe that the lack of engagement actually always thrown the Electoral Commission into controversy, and then it always brings them to unnecessary public attack. Because see, this is a commission that for some months or years has been an attack, and I've been doing its best to close its trust deficit among the people. You know, there's been some kind of trust deficit, which I know they are aware, and that, you see, in spearheading such a very crucial and sensitive election, you need at least 80% 100% trust of the people.
Trust.
That is the only way you can succeed.
And by research, the Electoral Commission doesn't have.
Okay, and so you don't do things that would rather deepen
or worsen your trust.
Worsen your trust. Yes, worsen your trust. It is really uncalled for. For me, some of the things they do, I see it to be very uncalled for. You don't open yourself up for unnecessary attack when there are things that you can do behind closed doors and get this resolved.
Don't you see that's a leadership problem? Because, well, it's the same institution, but with different leaders at different times. So obviously, Lelilo is coming in thinking that it can, or he or she can take some very independent and autocratic decisions without necessarily joining with stakeholders.
I think that for me, Annie, to be very sincere with you, we need to commend the current EC, regardless of the challenges or differences or whatever issues we have with them, for holding the fort, especially during COVID time, when they're taking some kind of, let me use the word crazy, some kind of unthinkable decisions that people thought it was really, really unlogical during a period like COVID period. But they sailed through, they succeeded. You know, registering and...
You're saying they succeeded after the fact?
Yes, that's what... No.
But you didn't know whether they would have succeeded or not, because we were dealing with a novel situation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That, so I mean that they took a risk. You know, and risk is...
Which was rather, let me choose a more milder word, a dangerous risk for that matter.
It was dangerous. But you know, like I'm saying, if you take a dangerous risk and at the end of the day, the outcome, because it's an unforeseen outcome, the outcome is positive, then definitely you're suffering. Definitely people commend you. But if if that dangerous risk had led you to death, you understand, or crucifixion, then you would have known that you would have done yourself more harm than good.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yes.
To challenge your position, it was a risk, a 50-50 risk.
Of course, like,
and it was the 50-50, the other 50 was death.
But I'm saying that, Annie, they were very much confident. They have done their analysis, they have done their data, and they defended and say that they can do it, it is possible. And for me, whether you like it or yes, it worked for them. And that is what I'm saying that. That is what I'm saying that. We have some excesses we are dealing with from the 2020 elections, which more or less on security and all security matters and all that. But I was expecting that they would have improved, because they were improved on their performance, and then the good thing they did in 2020. Which I am sitting here commending them for that good show and for ensuring that at least the election was peaceful and everything, even though there were excesses. And for me, the lessons learned in 2020 would have guided them, or would have actually be their guy coming into 2024. For me, that's what I'm saying. So the question would be that did they learn their lesson from 2020 and all that? But I am thinking that the leadership there, the Commissioner Jimensa, IEA, someone who has spearheaded it, very, very experienced. We all knew under a leadership at IEA, we all knew some of the things where IEA was organizing presidential debate and all that. They pull a lot of strings and all that. And so nobody have doubt that somebody at the helm of affairs, because IEA, one of the IEA's core achievement was to ensure that the then Electoral Commission do its work very well to ensure transparency, fairness, and all that, to ensure that the...
Yes, but fell to most of the mistakes that were not being committed by the previous Electoral Commission, which was quite surprising.
Of course, it's very surprising.
There are very fundamental inaccuracies that the Electoral Commission failed to. For example, you had data that you had inconsistent data or false data, which you explained that you were using Coral Draw to, I mean, some of the Electoral Commission's, blunders, very unforgivable. And and leaves much to worry about, because you wonder, okay, why are you using CorelDRAW to organize your data? And then it comes to say, well, because of those mistakes that CorelDRAW was giving us, we now shifted to Excel, and because of that, Excel is not going to be able to give us generate our infographics that we need to give you, like we've been giving you, because we're using CorelDRAW to generate infographics, which is false, because Excel can't generate infographics. So there are some very basic mistakes that it is obvious that this Electoral Commission does not know. And so if you know, then you're wondering, but they will not listen to. I mean, you're trying to say that this is wrong, this is not true, but they're still, going on with what they're doing. Yeah.
So I think for me, I think that I agree with you. I believe that there are some mistakes which are unpardonable. I think the EC must do well to engage. I believe extensive engagement will save the EC from some of these mistakes. To me, my observation and sincere observation is that the EC must do well to engage. They are not engaging enough, and that is what, because you are there for the people. The work you are doing can clone the country into, look, Ghana is the only peaceful country in the sub-region. Ghana is the only peaceful country. Now look at the countries around us. Now look, Ghana is now thrown into any chaos or in a situation where we cannot endure. Where are we running to? And so for me, I agree with you, and I will urge the EC to do more, especially during these 3 days, to avoid certain mistakes. I think once you are able to engage, and the word is engage extensively, and also heed to advice and public cry and concerns, I think they will be able to, we will all see through. Ghana will be the winner, and Ghana will be peaceful even after the elections. All we need to do is that these 3 days, today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that is when they will declare the elections, they must show leadership. They must show that, look, we have the country Ghana at heart. We believe in the good people of this country. We have engaged. We have done this. We've done this. Look, the result. Once the result is declared, it should end every controversy. It should end everything. Like, everyone should be able to accept your declaration result, and nobody should call for any rules, or nobody should now be singing war drums and everything if things are done right. But if you do things absurdly,
it has to have that clause. If things are done rightly. But so this is what the Electoral Commission actually released to us today. It was released on the 4th of December 2024 anyway, but I'm capturing it today. So Election Day media briefing, and the brief says that the Electoral Commission is pleased to inform the media and the general public that the Commission will provide regular media briefings on Election Day. The essence of this media briefing is to provide the public updates on the elections. Media personnel who have accreditation cards for the National Coalition Center are invited to cover the media briefings. And then at 9 a.m. on 7 December 2024, the Commission will hold the first media briefing. And then there will be further briefings at 12 noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., from 9 p.m. on Election Day. The Commission will provide media briefing as well as when results are received from the regions. And also, each briefing sessions will last no more than 30 minutes. The Commission will also use the media briefings to respond to any stories and reports from around the country. The Commission therefore urges the media and the general public to verify any reports on the elections with the Commission to avoid sharing unverified stories on the platforms. The Commission is committed to delivering fair, transparent, credible and peaceful elections, and looks forward to working with the media to bring the elections and its process to the doorstep of citizens. The public may reach the Commission on its toll-free number. The toll-free number is 0800 324 324 to seek verification on any issue during this time. Electoral Commission Transparency Accountability in motion. That's what it's signed by Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman of Operations. So that's a release that we're giving. Mr. President, you also have, organized a coalition center, and you open up for all of us to have access. So do you have access to all the constituencies across the country?
Yes, of course. But to comment on this, I think this issue, we have taken it up with the EC, and I know before close of business today, you know the point, you know the issue, because first of all, let me even clarify that no media house has been given any accreditation, special accreditation to the National Coalition Center. And so, in the first place, the EC has no business in even putting that in a statement.
It says that we should run and verify issues with them before. In my head, I was thinking the EC now wants to be our editor.
You see, it's out for us, for me, as for fact check, it's very important.
Yes.
In making sure that we don't misinform. At least it's very important to fact check. But the question is that why indicate in your statement that only media or who have been given accreditation to the National Coalition Center who have access? Meanwhile, no one has been given. Everybody has one accreditation. That's the photo accreditation. And so this is where our concern, we have issues with the EC. Like I said.
So the EC is obviously, and like you were saying, bent on actually doing what it wants to do.
You see, Annie.
The earlier release that we fought is what it has clandestinely come back with.
In fact, when we fought it, we were making a case to be given unfettered access at all levels, everywhere, including the national. The SC came out with a statement saying that, okay, they've heeded to it, but then they are going to give unfettered access to the media from the polling station to constituency and to the regional coalition center. But the national, they will come out with the modalities of national accreditation. And so we were standing by that the issue is going to engage us on this matter. And for this one, again, engagement.
It just came out with
They didn't engage us. And this has been our major challenge.
You see, we're talking about transparency. In fact, the EC itself wrote on the statement, Electoral Commission, transparency and accountability.
My dear sister, look, my heart bleeds whenever I'm talking about the EC, because this is a commission that I've worked for, that I've worked with. Imensa is like my mom. Like a mom to me is everything. Dr. Bosman is like a brother and all that. And so, if I am leading the aims of affair with regards to the media and journalism in this country, and you cannot just pick a phone and come, or you cannot just engage and say that, oh, my son or my brother, this is what we intend to do. I have worked with you. I have worked with you. I've been a lead media consultant with you in the past. And so why can't you just engage? And me is the problem, because this issue, Annie, it is no issue. The statement was even uncalled for. You could have just indicated your time of briefing and other thing. That's all. Yeah. But to even indicate that you have been given. Now, do you know since yesterday the calls we have received from journalists, from editors, from media houses who see themselves, hey, why are we going to be left out? Are we not also getting
national accreditation room?
Yes, from the national accreditation room and all that, the national coalition room and all that. I think enough said about the EC. Let me move on to the GJ. Yes, as part of our part of the activities undertaken to ensure credible reporting and all that, and also to ensure to prevent misinformation and disinformation and whatever malinformation, we have decided to set up a National Media Coalition Center at the EC. In fact, we are partnering KGL and all other media partners, GIBA, Print Park, the New Media Association of Ghana, and all that, to set up what we call the National Media Coalition Center. Now, the National Media Coalition Center is going to be the reference point for the media. As we speak, we have engaged the service of over 276 volunteers. And so you ask me whether we have, yes. Now there's going to be, now each volunteer will be now assigned a constituency. Each volunteer will be at one, so each volunteer to one constituency. We have 276 constituencies. Let's clear that. And so these volunteers are going to report activities on the from the collation center, and they will even be around the access to even the polling centers to also observe how the process go. Now, for them to report the result from the collation center, to give us the declared result, and also to give us the satisfied result. Aside that, they are also going to now also report to us on issues of suspicious, should I say, activities, and also even attacks on journalists, if there's any, and how journalists are even handled and treated at the various constituency collation center and everything. So we have trained them, we have taxed them to do a number of things. Now, at our National Media Collation Center, I was at the UC's, what they called the strong room in 2020.
Yeah. So
now,
in this case, that is the strong room we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the strong room we're talking about. So I was there. Now, you know, the strong room has been demystified. So it's no more strong room anymore. So in democratic division, I think we have gone beyond that. Yeah. We are in a progressive system or era now. And so we're going to have two projectors. One projector will now be projecting the provisional result. So during the period where the EC returning officers at the constituency will be declaring the result, our reps there will be sending us the declared result at that period. So that will be projected as provisional. Listen, provisional. Right after that, they are going to also to us the satisfied result signed by the EC and all the political party agents. Once we receive that, we project that as satisfied result. So we're going to get two results, provisional and certified. And so if there are any discrepancies, you know, we don't want the era where in the past you have some of our TV stations, our media houses, projecting different results. Yeah. You see media house A is projecting this figure, the number of constituencies the same, but different figures, different percentage, and project different results. We don't want that case, because that tantamount to misinformation, and that creates a lot of things. And that is why the EC has been advising us to stay away from declaring results or calling whatever result, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We
so
can project
it's actually safe to link with GJA.
Yeah, GJA.
So we are all on the same page, and then we can be comparing numbers and
one
figures.
good thing, and before I go, and you know, today I am doing three interviews this morning.
That's good.
I've given you more than hour because
yes,
I know.
Thank you.
Yes, I know you are doing something special for me behind there, and that is why I'm giving you an hour.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So you see, aside that, we have also earmarked the press center. We have actually stationed the press center as the central point of information, dissemination, and information update on the election-related matters. Yeah. What we are saying is that aside the National Media Collation Center, the press center has also been served, or has also been will also be used set up for constant press conferences and press briefings. We are saying that statistics and data available to us indicate that journalists and reporters come under attack during this 3-day period, usually from the 6th to the 9th. Why? Because, and these attacks from the report also indicate that journalists come under attack mostly when they are called to cover press conferences from the offices of the political parties, especially the two major political parties. Because, you know, tensions are high and all that, even under no provocation, you know, there's always assault and all that. Yeah. Sometimes when they see you also to be an alien to their camp and other things, you come under any, you understand, attack. So what we are saying in form of attack, what we are saying to prevent attacks, to reduce such attacks, we are saying that, Annie, no
media house, including Metro TV. You understand? And the Metro, your group name is
Ignite Media.
Ignite Media. No media house should assign any reporter or journalist to any political party office. We have engaged the political parties. Yesterday, I personally spoke to the General Secretary of the NDC. I personally spoke to the chairman of the MPP. I personally spoke to the communication director of the Bamia campaign team. We have done engagement and made them aware that the press center is in readiness, is well positioned to host them. We are encouraging all our constituents and media bodies to come to station journalists or reporters at the press center. Now, so once the journalists or reporters are stationed there, from today says to when the elections will be declared, the political parties or key stakeholders or anybody who wants to update or who wants to inform, who wants to brief the media, just walk there, come there. The media will be there. We are having all the media stationed.
So the media shouldn't go to political party offices?
No, for the safety and security. And this, because, look, I mean, and what we are saying, we are being serious. If any media house, where any interest or whatever chance, allow your journalist or reporter, or any reporter or journalist, do not heed to this advice and find yourself in any political party's office and you come under any attack and you call on the GJ.
You stay off.
We'll stay off. What we are saying is that
you can't stay off.
No, we have the data. We have the data. The data available to us indicate A, B, C, D. From 1992 coming, we have the information, and we say that, look, we don't want, in fact, we want a casualty-free election.
No, but avoiding.
Is it Annie?
That is like I mean, you know the word.
Annie, we have engaged. That is why we are engaging our stakeholders, the media houses, and we have engaged them too. We have sent letters. We didn't just we have sent letters, official letters to them. What we are trying to do is that, and this will also help us get misinformation. We don't want era where a political party will invite you and then to start now. So, Mr.
President, I'm running. In fact, I'm out of time. But what you're saying is, if a party wants to have a press conference, they should come to the DJ.
The press center.
Not
yes,
in their office.
The National Media Coalition Center is set. And fortunately for the parties, both parties are very close to the press center. The headquarters of the NDC is another bracket, which is about 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from the press center. You come. The media is going to be stationed there 24/7 from the 6th of December. We want to protect our people. Okay. Look, the issue is that you don't know the stress and the pressure that comes on us when the media comes on attack. Annie, if a journalist is attacking this country, if you attack a journalist, you have attacked me, the president of the GJ.
Yeah.
And I will not sleep until justice.
Right.
Yes, you understand? So we are saying that. Yeah. We want to ensure a smooth, peaceful, and credible election reportage. Right. Also to avoid information that may contaminate the good work we are doing in the public. Right. You come there. So that at least when after the president, if there are even things to fact check, the media will do what to fact check. So that the media will not even be haste and to be reporting from the office of the political parties and to be misinforming. Right. We don't want to cause that. We don't want to be the reason for the country to be thrown into any confusion. And I can assure you that once the media, once we discharge our work professionally and also guarded by the ethics, and know that Ghana is the only country we have. The peace and democracy, Ghana is always seen as the beacon of democracy. It's really, really important to us, and that we'll do everything possible to protect this peace, to protect this democracy. Once we do that, Ghana shall be the winner at the end of the day, and we will have a peaceful process. Thank you.
Albert Kwabena-Dwumfour is president of Ghana Journalists Association. We've had quite an extensive session with him, but we definitely will be engaging with you or engaging you during the whole period until the president-elect will be announced by the Electoral Commission. I am grateful for your time this morning.
I'm also grateful.
And definitely you will hear from us again.
You are doing a good job.
Thank you.
And kudos to you.
Thank you.
Team.
Thank you. But so we're having a second session, but we're going to, go into other areas now. After dealing with our president, we now go into the security areas. We'll also have Adam Bona in the studio, who is a security expert. Also, Father Michael Kweku is a member of the CFI Executive Committee. He will also join us here. Rhoda Osayafu is from the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD. She will also join us here in the studio. And Suleimana Brahma, Executive Director, Media Foundation for West Africa, will join us. But before I engage them, let's take a breathe and breathe a little and come back to do the second session of this. This is your Election Central.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Hey guys, so I got this app. It's called Ayoba. It's a chat app that helps me with beauty tips and cooking tips. A super app that feeds me music and the latest sports content. I even use it for my studies. And the good news is, I don't need to use my data bundle because I'm on MTN. Chale, the app just did be.
Ayoba, the all-in-one app that lets you chat, call, read, play, pay, and listen. Use Ayoba at no data cost on MTN. Download Ayoba now.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bread for mattress anymore? Put on some slippers, then follow me. It is part of the mattress we did the front there. Yeah? That'll be the mattress where the dead go. Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like ash foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Using Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, brought to you by Koa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana, formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Koa Plus Mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Koa MT Mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Koa MT Mixture. Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Koa MT Mixture. Choose Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244 726611 or 0591 565 778. This advert is a
Code Mickey, the prime iter. Enemy Kura Estate Masters. Na mi homeni swabi.
Ene mini Estate Masters. Wo hu asase e di. Obo rep wo ha mini ni bedi nkoma busa na questions. Na so nya ho ntia se. So chairman, here no acres ni e be sen.
So acres ni about 80 acres. Na asase no ya chichechichem. Ye mane dance on no se achiche.
Be man nantem kakra.
So ye wo.
Ye da so kama.
Yes, da so kama. So ara asase na ya ye demarcations no. Every block be a one road that done in chain. Okay. So you have 50 by 70, 70 by 100, and 100 by 100.
Maybe the kind of buy when you say assassination, baby, like I said, Namu and Namuko Pio, and a yaba, yabe check the piano. Get to chairman will be the Kahua.
Yes, I am person more
crisis, and also be a whole person who born in here, my very important.
I have no 70, 50 by 70. Okay. You can have plots. Okay. 40,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes. A full plot.
80,000. So check it current price now. I will go from half. Oko baby, I will 40,000. And the money that's from consider said I'm no car if it's the fact that document
yes.
Yes, say be a wood tree
and I no dia baby I'll pay bit map check it.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver. Win, even if your bet misses.
Energy drink. Attention, my Ghana people. Election day is almost here. This December 7th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. sharp. Each of us has the power to shape the future of our nation. Your vote in the presidential and parliamentary elections can make a real difference. Now, this is how to ensure that your vote counts. When you arrive at the polling station, verify your identity. Even if your voter ID card is missing, go to your polling station. You will be allowed to vote. Now, receive a ballot paper. Take a moment to check that it has a validating stamp at the back. This is very important, and make sure that it is clean and undamaged. Step up to the voting screen. Place your thumb on the ink pad and carefully place it in the box next to your chosen candidate's name, photo, and symbol. Be very careful to keep your thumbprint within the box. Remember to wipe your thumb with the tissue provided in the voting screen before you touch the ballot paper again. Then fold the ballot lengthwise and place it in the ballot box. Be very, very mindful. Your vote will be rejected if you thumbprint for more than one candidate. Leave it blank, or if it's missing a validating stamp at the back. So take note, after voting, officials will conduct a transparent count. Ballots will be verified, sorted, and counted, with party agents carefully observing every step of the process. And yes, remember, this election is your opportunity to choose leaders who represent you. So step out on December 7th to vote and let your voice be heard. Your vote is your future. Remember, we vote with our thumbs, not guns. Weapons have no place at the polling station.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Wow. Okay, you're welcome back. You're welcome back. This is Good Morning Ghana, and Ms. Adam Bona is actually keeping me keeping my mind engaged on some issues. But of course, we're going to go into it. So I have been joined in the studio by security analyst Adam Bona, and you're welcome, sir. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. All right, and also we have Rhoda Osei Afu, and she is from the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD. Rhoda, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you. Also, Father Michael Kweku is a member of the Civic Forum Initiative, CFI Executive Committee. Father, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right. So this committee is led by IDEC.
Yes.
And it's a body of CSOs.
It's an amalgamation of various CSOs in governance and security and election-related matters.
Right. Right. Okay. So let me just do this quickly and come back to you. We've all been here and you've played the perfect multi-bet and all going your way until it's not. And one or more picks let you down. So, well, Betway, bets save your future. You can win even if your bet misses. If on multiple losses, you can get your bet back and more. So Bet Saver says exclusive to Betway, and it gets way more and better. Terms and conditions apply. It's regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana, and you have to play responsibly. So Betway gets way more. Let's get really into discussion first, and I'll take the opening remarks of every guest on the platform. Rhoda, let me start with you. They say ladies first. So what has CDD been doing the whole period? Like we say, election is a process. So we've gone through the process, and the die is almost cast. So what exactly have you been doing, and what have you observed also from our side?
Right. Thank you so much, and good morning again. So I will start off from the front of observation. So CDD Ghana serves as the Secretariat for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. So I would say basically wearing two hats, speaking for CDD and then also for CODEO, which is an umbrella body for about 42 different organizations here in Ghana. Mm-hmm. Basically, CODEO has an objective of promoting free, fair, transparent elections. And so from the beginning of the year, the coalition has been monitoring the electoral environment, starting with the registration exercise that was carried out by the Electoral Commission. CODEO started observing all of these activities because it believes in a comprehensive assessment of the electoral process. Now, looking forward to tomorrow, CODEO is deploying 4,000 observers, comprising stationary observers, about 3,400 of them, who will be stationed at polling stations randomly selected across the country, and they will be observing the polls from morning till evening. And then there will be roaming observers who will also be monitoring the environment. I started talking about the voter registration exercise. Since then, CODEO has been monitoring the environment. We just monitored the special voting exercise, which took place on Tuesday, on Monday, and then on Thursday. And we have been able to share some findings with the Ghanaian public. So We are now set for our observation activities today at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center. CODIO is launching officially its observation center. This is where it is going to coordinate all its election day activities from. So basically, this is where we are as we look forward to tomorrow.
I'm excited about most of the bodies setting up coalition centers, and that's very, very unique in this year's elections. I mean, I'm just hearing from Father that they're also setting up a center. Yes. The GJA, we just spoke with the president, they're also setting up a center. So I'm sure that that's going to deepen transparency. No.
We hope so.
Yeah. So, okay, you also tell us maybe what you've been doing throughout, and then briefly
Thank you.
Let's know what you're going forward with.
I'm glad that you captioned this as a process, because for us at IDEC CFI, before this period of preparing for observation of the elections, we've been engaging various stakeholders in building confidence in our systems, and also, if you want, setting the mind of the Ghanaian electorate at peace, because in the end, the electoral exercise is only a part, a break in the wall of our democracy. So we have been engaging various stakeholders, not least on issues of security, of governance, and to allay the fears of the citizens. But specifically on the elections, we've set up a situation room at IDEC, which was launched only a few days ago, publicly, and which will also collate various information and data and relate to other stakeholders about the authenticity of such information for further action. Okay. And various, as I said earlier, because CFI is an amalgamation of various CSOs and faith-based organizations, the various organizations, the member organizations themselves, too have their own situation rooms. As I was telling earlier, the Catholic Bishops' Conference has its own small situation room, which will be also observed by members of other civic society organizations, and not least the UN and various security aspects. So we've done the earlier engagements. Now at the home stretch, we've deployed various members of our organizations to go and observe and to send in the necessary data for analysis and sharing, and moving on to those who are duty bearers to declare and to make decisions on those facts.
Right. Adam Bona, let me bring you in as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning to the viewers, and good morning to my colleagues here. Yes, for me and my colleagues, what we've done before today, we went around the 16 regions, trying to gather data on what is called the flashpoints. We went, all the way to all the 16 regions, collecting data, analyzed the data. We came up with about 102 flashpoints, and there are various, call it things we took into consideration in arriving at what will make, what do you call that, an area flashpoints. We've shared that with the agencies that would need to work on. Apart from that, I'm sure you also know that we conducted a survey amongst security officers, which is novel. It's never taken place before. And as part of our rounds, we engaged security officers. And I say that, I don't expect the clergy to be conducting survey among security officers. Those of us who play within the circles of security should be adequate enough if you have what it takes, the academic knowledge to be able to conduct an in-depth scientific survey. You do that. And so the survey report, I think we shared it with you. We had conversations on this, I think, good afternoon, on Audu's program.
Yes, good afternoon, Ghana.
Good afternoon, Ghana. We shared it with all the other media houses in the country. And the results very telling. some of the things that came out, which I think the state security have not resolved up to today, has to do with the disenfranchising, what do you call it, military officers. Majority of military officers couldn't vote on
special
voting and also on the I think yesterday's votes. They couldn't vote. And the reason is that either someone tricked them and asked them, this time around, my banter with EC boss 2020, before 2020 elections, where a lot of the officers whose names were sent to EC to be part of the
special
electoral roll,
list,
were not part of it. But this time around, it is a reverse. The officers, allegedly, those administratively who have power, took these military officers, their information, and failed to send them to EC. And so even though they are registered voters, they have not been able to vote in the special voting exercise. And if they are going to be sent elsewhere to be on standby duty, it means that with the states, we have disenfranchised these officers. And these things came up, which we highlighted in our report. Other things that also came up, and largely most of it revolved around the military for some time. For the last, there is a disquiet, and I'm bringing this out because of the extensive work we've done. For the last 1 to 2 years, they've been complaining. So when we went around, these things came out, and I'm only giving you information about what we gathered when we went and met.
The security men.
Yes, security men, and also majority of them being military, giving us what they feel and they can't talk about. It has to do with,
complaining.
They are not on single spine.
Okay.
They are not on single spine. Cap 30, they are not on single spine by the law. And so their pay is adjusted periodically. And someone would have to make that request for the adjustment to take place. That hasn't taken place. They were told somewhere along the line 2 years ago, usually in speaking to the military, they would usually organize debtors. They speak to the men through debtors. They told them the money will be so big they will carry the money in a wheelbarrow. I don't know whether you heard about you saw that they will carry it in a wheelbarrow. Correct. Eventually, they promised 70% or so. But as we speak, the officers are alleging that it's just about 35% that has hit their account. And even out of that, for the last 1 year, beginning of this year, they have not been receiving pay slips. So you work with Ignite Media, right? They pay you, and you don't receive a pay slip. Do you understand me?
Right.
I'm saying this, and I'm sure if you were to open the phone line, the military, they would tell you. And this is what we gathered. And so mine is that it is bad that we will treat them this way and still expect them to deal with the security challenges that we are confronted with.
So are you suspecting that because of promises made to them and unfulfilled promises, the fear of they voting against the government actually informed the decision to deliberately disenfranchise them?
I mean, I'm only reporting
what you've been told.
I'm only reporting. I'm not trying to do any deductions out of these are what they said, that the fear is that because what they were promised hadn't come. That's one. And then two, the fear that if they allow them to vote, most of them might vote the other way around. Probably is what is leading their leaders to do what they've done to them. Yesterday, I spoke to a couple of media houses about this subject. You won't believe it how many military officers called me. And these people who called are not even, we sampled about 100,000 security officers. And, we a population size of 100,000, and we sampled just about 900 and something. Though some of them we didn't sample called from the Western region, from, the various units, saying that, you are speaking our minds. Because we can't talk. If you talk, you'll be put in a guard room. And so I'm happy Papa Osofo is here. I think these are things that we need to raise, because then you see, we are not Ghanaians more than these officers who are complaining. The only difference between us sitting here and them is that we can talk and they can talk. And so if on this platform some of us are not able to raise it, and this is not an allegation, it is real.
Well, it still remains
No,
an allegation.
when I say this is not, because I've been raising these issues since we published our report on the survey, and they haven't come out to deny. And so I would want the military...
When you say they, who do you mean? Interior
I mean
Ministry?
the military.
The military?
The military, yes.
So the military...
The Ghana Armed Forces,
yes,
led by, Prepra.
So the Ghana Forces Commander-in-Chief is supposed to come and respond to this, or the PR?
Well, somebody. I mean, the point is that the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. So if you are the commander-in-chief and your children are crying, I want to believe that the least you can do is to say, just hold on, maybe after the elections, we are going to do what is expected. But to go quiet. And so most of them are asking questions, what is going on?
Right.
And so mine is that I'm raising this because then I work within the security space. They might not see Papa Software and come and complain. But for me, they would have the trust that, well, when they tell me I should be able, I understand their plight. Because it's a highly, I mean, the security we know, highly regimented. Yeah. So they won't talk. But if you promise them that the pay will be so big, they will have to wheel it in a wheelbarrow. And then it becomes so small, when they put in their pocket, and then there's a problem. So I think that they should look at that. So we went around, figured out some of the locations that are flashpoints. And I think that so far, so good. In 2020 elections, I voted in my hometown constituency, Issa constituency, DBI. The DBI, Issa Dafiamabuse constituency. By this time around, I'm voting here because I might not be able to go and come back quickly because I'm part of a monitoring team. The election itself in 2020 was very smooth. That we cannot blame the EC. But the counting and the collation is where the problem started from, 2020.
So you want to say...
It took me 5 minutes to vote.
Okay, so it's not the election that was smooth, the voting.
Yes, sorry. The voting, thank you. The voting was very smooth. I went through the process. Everybody was calm. Even though there was some minor incident they resolved there. But generally, all the way to the north and came back on, and there were... Then when the counting started, there were a lot of issues and people died. And I say this, we could have prevented this if the then number one person for Election Security Task Force, i.e. Upon Bueno, the IGP then, had done a lot of engagement. There were near to zero engagements. By this time around, I think the current IGP has done so well, engaging everybody, including the EC, and ensuring that the EC is putting in security measures. Now we are told that coalition centers will not be open, spaces where some hoodlums will run and grab ballot boxes. This time around, they will be in controlled areas. The media will be there to tell us, I have a tag to be able to be in a
coalition center.
Yeah, to be in a regional coalition center. I don't know whether they've written regional coalition center. I don't know whether I can go into
I really, because of the earlier argument or discussion we had on the
let me finish.
I want to have one of the, if you can give me one of the accreditations so that we look at what's written on
because
it.
Mine is written,
yes.
I have regional coalition center. So I'm not sure whether I think they would have district coalition centers or it's just regional. Constituency. So I don't know whether I don't know whether once you have the regional, it will cascade down
to constituency level.
But
I think it should.
This time around, I think that the level of engagement gives me some comfort that the hoodlums might not have their way, even if they would have.
Because of engagement?
No, when I say the engagement, it means that you know what you are doing. I know what I'm doing. I know where I can go to. I know where I don't have to go to. Everybody is alerted. Don't allow criminals to do A, B, C, D. I know. I sent some weapons to you. I don't know what immigration is doing at Banda. the Banda area with a large number of weapons. I have to ask my brother Techi, the controller of immigration. They are sending them to the Banda area. I'm not too sure whether it's part of...
Who are they?
Immigration, Ghana Immigration Service. You know, I don't know whether it's part of the security plan.
Measures.
You know, not too sure what they are going to do. We've seen officers in Balaclavis at the airport attempting to board what you call a civilian aircraft. You don't do that.
Officers in what?
In face masks.
Face masks?
Yes, at the airport. I'm sure you saw that recently. At the airport.
Oh, okay. I saw the video.
You know, you don't do that. With weapons.
So I tried to speak with a military person who's senior yesterday on that matter. And what he tells me is, I think Sam George was on Good Morning Ghana 2 days ago and was making the allegations. And he said, well, Sam George had some level of credible information in what he was saying, but he was too wild. You know.
What is wild about what he said? Were they not at the airport? Were they not carrying arms? Yes. Were they not attempting to board a civilian aircraft with the arms?
Yes.
Are they allowed to do that? You don't board civilian aircraft with explosives. You don't do that. You know what I mean?
So it's a mode of transportation.
Exactly, because then I am a civilian. I might be giving clearance to board a military plane if I have it. But then the consequences, I will take them. Because a military plane is used in carrying anything.
Yeah.
I have boarded military planes for, you know. But if you are entering a civilian aircraft, you either would have ask everybody to disembark, for you to carry your firearms and ammunition to wherever you are going to. If not, and something goes wrong up there in the sky, everybody will be gone. And so mine is that I don't think that Sam George was making any wild allegation. I don't think so. I just think that somebody just got it wrong and it shouldn't have happened.
Either someone got it wrong or there is something up their sleeve.
No. Aviation, I mean, we all have a bit of knowledge. These days, even if you are traveling outside the country, you have, you know, plainclothes officers, and if you are a security person, you can identify that this person is a security person. Do you understand me? They are sitting, they sometimes very close to the cockpit, and they are just there, sometimes reading, and they are
you
watching.
are blowing their cover.
Now, what I'm trying to say is that, so it's something that if you have a bit of knowledge, and so for these people to be covering their faces and geared up with whatever, for me. So there is too much things that are going on. And I shared what the Ashanti Regional Minister, he seems to want to declare. I'm sure we'll come there.
Yes, we'll come there. Let me bring in let me bring in Rhoda. Cordeo came out with the review, the special voting exercise review, and what your observations were. Producers, maybe you can put them up on the screen so that we see some of the. Okay, not this. These are registered voters of the various regions. But the reports from Cordeo, that's what we want. As and when they're ready, you can just put them up. So, I mean, first of all, what do you make of what he said now with the observations and research within security, and juxtaposing it to your observations and the report you gave us to the media?
I would say I don't know much about some of the details he provided, but I will speak to those issues that relate to some of our observation findings. So talking specifically about special voting, my understanding is that the EC invites applications, the list is compiled, people are supposed to show up on the day and vote. If somebody's name is not on the special voting list, my expectation will be that their name then will be on the main voter registration list, so that if
the EC said if you were supposed to do the voting on special voting day, and you didn't show up, you can't.
So that is different.
Yeah.
If your name is on it, I think there was an earlier issue about people whose names were not on the list at all, right, and therefore couldn't vote. If your name was on the list and you didn't show up, that one is different.
It's different.
You cannot vote because then your vote, your name already has been moved.
In a different register.
Exactly. I'm talking about people who either didn't apply or for some reasons apply, but their names were not moved onto the list. I think the expectation will be that they should still be able to vote at the original polling station. The challenge probably may be whether these people will be deployed outside of the original police stations, in which case...
So yesterday, the same security man I was speaking with told me he was actually, deploying men Then my question was, but you told us that you were not going to be a part of the process. Then he gave me a technical word, something formal basis or something like that. That the fact that we're not going to be a part doesn't mean that we shouldn't stand by. It's always very yes, to avoid knee-jerk approaches. Yes, and it's part of the military discipline that you always have to be ready and be prepared. Yes.
Yes. So again, maybe we still have about a few hours to go. So it's still. I think I would say it's still good enough time for some consultations, some deliberations to take place at the institutional level to see how arrangements can be made so that everybody will be able to exercise their franchise. Because this, I think, nobody deserves to be disenfranchised if indeed there is information to that effect. So we still have to look into the modalities that will enable such categories of personnel who are affected by some of these issues to vote. Otherwise, that would be a challenge.
So why were they complaining? Because they should know that if their names they were not in the special voting list, they had the privilege, as she's saying.
No, I think she clarified it, but let me reiterate what she just said. What she said is that EC would not know who is a police officer or not. So EC would invite the various, let's say, HR units of the agencies to bring their list. And once you bring them, they key them in as special voters. And I'm sure GJA does the same for, I don't know whether you do it yourself, or GJA.
With a list?
With media.
Media, special voting list. So the media houses will present to the EC.
So you present and then they key them in as special voters.
Yes.
It's the same thing with the security agencies, police, military, and the rest. This time around, they submitted the names. Some people's names were captured. A large percentage of them, their name missing from the list. You won't blame EC for the names not going to EC.
So they want to cast
the military, allegedly, whoever was supposed to do that, sent a percentage of the list to EC. And EC, they
will work with what the data they have.
Exactly. So now, just like you said, the trouble is that if they don't have some consultation quickly with EC to allow them, assuming you have been deployed to WA, to be on standby with the WA military units. There is a military unit there now, it's 5 mechanized or so. They send you there to be on standby there in case of any eventuality. Your vote is at Bema Camp. Majority of Bema Camp, Bishar Camp, and the rest. Let's say even our barracks and the rest. And so what happens? They send you there, and there is no arrangement for you to vote in WA. Means that completely 2024 you didn't get the opportunity.
Yes, because you can't come all the way to Arakan.
You can't come all the way to Bema Camp, Arakan Barracks, or Bishar Camp, or any of the two. You can't if you are from the Western region. You can't if you have been sent out. And so this information is to the effect that they should try as much as possible. Officers who want to vote tomorrow, who not through their own deliberate scheming, didn't vote or didn't send their name but submitted their names, they should ensure that they are given the opportunity to vote.
This will be difficult.
Well, I don't think it will be difficult because EC should be able, if they have today, like you say, we have a few hours to go. If they, how many are they?
So did you, because you said a number, quite a number of them.
Let's say we have 25,000 military officers. If you have 25,000 military officers,
and you have about 5,000 who were disenfranchised.
Let's say you have about 15,000 getting disenfranchised. That is still small. When I say small, in terms of the population size of Ghana.
Yes, but in terms
I'm not
of
talking
the numbers,
about in terms of the population size of the military. With the population size of the military, that is huge. Yeah. That will be more than 50% of the voting, and every military officer is old enough to vote. You have to be 18 and above to be a military officer. So every military officer today is eligible to vote. So no one should be disenfranchised. Whoever, maybe it was an error. If it's an error, correct it. Because if they are not allowed to vote, we will know. And we'll come and say it on this platform. If they are also allowed to vote, we will know. And we'll come and say it on this platform. So for me, I just think that 2024 election is very important. I call it the thumb riots. We are going to riot tomorrow using our thumbs, not cutlasses and machetes. Let's go and riot using our thumbs. Either to say Twaso or Munko Fie. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Let's go. You look at your situation and go and riot. That is what I can say.
So, Rhoda, what do you think? Because there's a possibility too that if your name was submitted for special voting list, then it would have been taken out of the normal voting day list. Do you understand? So you won't have your name here, you won't have your name there, and that will be
this is
unfair.
This is an issue that keeps coming up almost every election after the other. I must say that based on Kodio's observation, we didn't seem to have had a lot of issues with people missing out on the special voting list compared to previous years. That is not to say that there were still people who didn't go there and couldn't find their names. We have instances where people had to be explained in terms of why their names were not there. In some cases, it was because of some inaction that was taken and all of that. I think I remember reading one particular instance like that. The point, though, is about numbers, how many people are affected in terms of the way forward, right? So as earlier, the suggestion that came in terms of what the EC can do on its front. Now, mind you, the EC already has deployed logistics. Every polling station, we know the numbers, the number of people who are registered, and based on that, the distribution of ballots takes care of that. There's only an allowance of about 2% or so extra copies of the ballot that is provided for in case of shortages or spoiled ballots and all of that. So there might be challenges for the EC if they have to now, based on the numbers, like I'm saying, I don't know how many people are affected by this particular instance, whether they are in the thousands or if they are in the hundreds. Depending on all of those factors, maybe something can be done from the EC's front. Maybe if the numbers are not significant, it will be easier for them to arrange and communicate with their election officials, their poll officials, to say, these are some officers whose names who couldn't take part. Now they are going to be deployed here. We are making it possible for them to probably most likely vote in the presidential election and all of that. But probably the numbers are so huge to the extent that they will not be able to make provision for ballots, extra ballots for these polling stations where these people are likely to vote. Then that may be a challenge. So the other side is also on the.
But if they really registered, their ballots have been taken care of in the.
No, so at the national level, we know we have say about 18 million registered voters. We do the distribution. Polling station A at Metro TV.
Okay, you can put the registered voters list on the screen.
We know that for each polling station, there are a certain number of people who are registered there. If I am a security officer and I live at this location, my name will be here and I'll be part of the registered voters. But if because of special voting, I have been moved out of that, if the EC is making arrangements, they are looking at people who they are expecting to vote at this polling station on election day. So when they are doing the distribution of ballots, they are looking at the numbers, those who will be voting there. So I'm saying if now we are having this polling station needing more ballot papers, which will go beyond the 2% or the 3% or the additional extra provision they make, then it will be difficult to move things around. Okay? At a certain point, it will be easy to accommodate that. But again, depends on the numbers. At a certain point, it might not be that feasible to accommodate all of that. So there's a lot of deliberation that has to take place. First of all, how many people are affected? Where are they likely to be deployed? And what then can be done? But of course, consultations have to start if they haven't started. If somebody is not talking to anybody, then definitely we are not going
and they are just complaining?
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Well, the truth is that those complaining are not people who can go and report to anybody. When I say those complaining, I mean, within the military, you have the men and you have the officers. Do you understand me? Even the officers would be very careful. It's a highly regimented community. So I just think that if the military high command are failing to probably address this issue, the Minister of Defense, my brother Dominic Nitewu, should call them. Call them and let them know that this issue needs addressing. No military officer should be disenfranchised.
If we want to talk,
it's simple.
If we talk about organizations that are well regimented and organized, it's the military. Their reporting channel should be even easier.
Yes. No. What I'm saying, you don't understand. Their reporting channels should be relatively easy.
Yeah.
When you are from the outside.
Yes.
It looks that way. It's like you are standing outside the forest and you are saying it is, when you go in there, from the outside it looks that way, but it is not that way.
No, but
we have less than 24 hours to go. Wait.
Who collated the names?
No, wait.
Whoever
collated the names,
the
would know
specialist
himself,
names
would know himself within the military. So I'm calling him out and asking that.
Adam, you know the person.
He should listen. He should speak to Madame Jane Mensah. Let Madame, because let's say there are 25,000 of them, the entire military population, including those on peacekeeping. And let's say 5,000 of them only had, I'm not saying that is, but let's say 5,000 of them only had the opportunity to vote. The other 20,000 would not amount to 20% of extra ballot papers that were printed. Okay. And so we can make provision
for them,
adequate provisions for every military officer who the system is attempting to disenfranchise, to make sure they vote, because whether you like it or not, election will be over and they will still be in their uniform and be expecting to protect us. And as we speak, I'm sure we are going to come there, but I have some senior men in Ghana telling the Ashanti Regional Minister, who is declaring Ashanti as a republic, we need to call him out. Right. I hope we will all do that.
Yes, we'll get into the statements coming from the Ashanti Region Security. Is it Security Council, right?
Yes, RESEC, yes.
RESEC, yes.
He's declaring Ashanti Region as a republic by his letter.
By his statement.
By his statement. He's declaring, it's a declaration of Ashanti Region as a republic. Maybe he doesn't understand what that means in security.
Yes.
It's a declaration because he can't do that. He's declaring Ashanti as a republic.
Okay, so that we'll all be on the same page, we'll have to read the statement and then we'll get to that. Rhoda, you come finalize and then I'll come back to Father.
Well, I mean...
But from your observation, it was clear the turnout for special voting was about 90-something%.
So, first of all, with special voting, they didn't go into the counting and all of that. Ended with voting. Ballots were sealed, taken away, so that on December 7, this will be counted at the collation centers. But talking about some of the issues that came up for us, we were also concerned about some of the incidents that we saw, like inducements. Now,
okay, I think we have that list. Let's have the Codeo reports.
The statement.
Yes, we actually put them in small, quick reads. So let's have those statements and see. Okay, great. So observations. Observers reported 2 cases of alleged vote buying at Keta in Volta region. Some party representatives at the polling stations shared money to people who voted for their candidates. At the Wejagbawe constituency, the Greater Accra region, some individuals believed to be MPP party representatives were at the polling stations gates giving out hundreds and 500 CDs to voters to cast their votes for the MPP candidates. You can give me the next one. At the Cape Coast North constituency in the Greater Accra region, a voter attempted to photograph the votes, but the security officials intercepted him. At Ablekuma South in the Greater Accra region, the voter went into the voting booth and photographed the ballot paper showing her vote for the presidential candidate. At Wale Wale in the Northeast region, a party agent and security officials intercepted a voter who photographed the vote before casting the ballot, alleged to receive money. In Bolgatanga Central, in the Upper East region, a police officer photographed their votes. And sometimes you just wonder. The matter was subsequently reported to the police inspector on duty at the polling station. At Navrongo Central, also in the Upper East region, the EC official and a police officer were seen taking pictures of respective ballots, and they were both taken into police custody. In German North, located in the Bono region, a non-uniformed police officer who doubles as a key member of the incumbent MP security detail attempted to prevent the MPP party chairman and several representatives from sharing money. This reportedly resulted in verbal attacks on the offer. Okay, officer, sorry, I'm the officer. Thought I had it at my back. All right, do we have more? Okay, we also had, I'm sure we have more, but you're not finding the document. But we had the popular one, which is Ayawaso West Wogon, which I was scandalized. I was so scandalized, I couldn't believe it, to the extent that my reportage even received attacks from representatives of the government. That, oh, I mean, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. Why are you making it? And I'm wondering, what kind of population are we dealing with? Yeah.
And security officers are supposed
Yes,
to be gainfully employed.
the most serious part is the people who were involved in the voting exercise receiving the items. So
with their 2 hands.
Yes. And some were even asking for it. From what our cameras captured.
They were asking for more. They were asking for more.
Well, it tells you. I mean, when you know, of Adam was speaking about the military and maybe some of the difficulties in their chains of command and all of that. Well, I happen to be a barracks boy myself, but of course not a military man myself. But as a student of security as well, I think that, you see, it is important that we understand the need to evolve as a people, and especially in our election processes, because legally your rights are either conferred to you in law or by nature or by whatever,
yes.
But you have a responsibility to vindicate it.
Thank you.
And I think that we should gradually move away from this posturing where we think that it is somebody else's responsibility without you doing anything to make sure that which is yours by law is taken. Now, I'm not saying that nobody is being prevented. All I'm saying is that if you feel that you are actually being prevented, you have a responsibility and a right, to make sure that you distance yourself from that situation. And gradually it has to come to a point where people feel that, for instance, what Kodeo observed, if people, say those in the military, have not had the opportunity to vote, well, of course, whether as individuals or as a group, they ought to seek whatever other means to vote.
It's difficult.
Well.
Somebody filmed an aircraft in the northern region, and I don't know whether he's out of guard room. He's still in guard room. So if you hear of these things,
yes.
If you hear of these things, somebody filmed an aircraft. A military officer filmed an aircraft, and quickly he was bundled and locked up in guard room. Even though the guard room concepts
for filming the aircraft,
the guard room concept has been dismissed by the Supreme Court that you can't detain. They shouldn't detain people in guard rooms again. It's illegal.
Yes.
But they still do it anyway. Yeah. Someone was detained. I don't know whether he's still in detention. And so I would wish that this would have been the normal thing, that they will come together, a class action, right? We have been disenfranchised. But you and I know you'll be victimized. I mean, even senior officers get victimized. And you're talking about the soldiers. Officers get victimized. You say, so mine is that, yes, you are right, but I wish they could do that way, but unfortunately, yes. And we've been dealing with this thing for the last 1 month. Looks like nobody, I've mentioned it, but nobody's paying attention.
Well, as they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So I think that it must be, on both sides, from both institution and individuals, you are doing a great job going around getting information. Annie and co are giving it voice in the media. Those of us in civil society and faith-based organizations go around also engage. I think that if we are going to evolve, we cannot just sit and expect. Work has to be done. And those who have to talk, those who have to act. And that is the side of the conversation I want to highlight, that we can't just expect it to happen, because if we just expect, it won't happen.
So I want to believe that those military men who were disenfranchised, maybe deliberately or not, don't have the voice because of the situation.
No, they don't have a voice.
Because of the situation.
It's complete. Completely incommunicado.
They
can't talk.
So there's even fear.
Yes.
Within the military
yes,
circle.
You can't talk. I'm saying they haven't received pay slip for 1 year.
And they can't talk.
1 year. Can you imagine you receive your pay every month, month in, month out, and you don't have a pay slip accompanying it? And some of them have gone to borrow money from banks. They've gone for high purchases. So you don't even know if your bank, and what do you call it? The deductions they do. Those who went for government. I think controller, they do the deductions from controller also before it comes. And they can't talk. So you can imagine if for something as also important, voting is very important, just as their pay. But if for 1 year, allegedly you don't have a pay slip and you can't talk, and you are talking about you are not able to vote and you go and talk, you don't want your job. You get it. So for me, I just think that these are the issues that needs to be highlighted, and we are highlighting them not to tarnish the image of the institution, but just like my colleague here said, Papa Osofo said, to strengthen and make sure that these issues we don't put them under the table, under the carpet, but we discuss them openly.
I agree.
So that even if it is one person who is affected, it shouldn't be, because the truth is that there is a saying in law that it is better to free 1 million suspects than to imprison one innocent soul.
Yeah.
Look at the JB Dankwa thing. You see the verdict that came. You have to prove him beyond reasonable doubt. So any doubts.
Yeah.
So I think our institutions, like you said, should evolve. let's.
But Father, is this not I don't know, it's a pretense of democracy, if you may.
Well,
because have the military, and I'm surprised hearing from the security experts, to have the military not be able to speak out within its own. Why? They have the channels. They can go through the channels and say, well, I was deployed to go and vote on special voting day. I'm supposed to because I presented my name, but I'm not sure how they address sir or boss.
Sir.
Sir.
Yes. You don't say sir.
Okay, sir. I couldn't vote because my name was not in the list. Yes. How is this so difficult? And I am shocked that
you don't know.
They have. This is like, this is a pretense of democracy, because I only expect this in military rule, not in democracy.
Well, you can say that to an extent, but I think, as I say, I think that the conversation is a bigger one. I was talking to a friend about our democracy, and of course I was being constructively critical about it, and then he said, well, you're sitting here in London comparing the various the two democracies, but he says, do you know how long it took and what it took to evolve to this extent? Yeah. So when I use the word evolution, I'm using it advisedly, because of course as a democracy, our fourth republic is very young. It doesn't mean that any of these things, any of these abuses are excusable. But what it means is that we have to make sure we move from point A to point B, and that calls for a lot of action and a lot of activity, a lot of struggling, a lot of speaking up, a lot of breaking boundaries, a lot of people wanting to become, if you want, the infrastructure for a superstructure to be built over, and unless we have that force of spirit and determination, I believe strongly that unless we fight for it, it will not be given to us on a silver platter.
I agree.
Yeah, so I believe that we must continue this journey.
The people that are supposed to fight for us, the people that are supposed to fight for us, in this case, in democracy, the military will be able to fight for us.
Yes.
When we have to.
Yes.
In this case, they are not even able to fight for their own lives.
Well, that is why we are here. The truth is that, like he's saying, I believe that we'll get to a point where these things should be put behind us.
Yes, but where do we start the fight? Where do we start the journey? And how do we even do it?
In
in exposing
we
the
are
loopholes.
talking about it freely. Okay. In the past, when I was growing up, I saw 79. You couldn't have. We only had GBC and SW1, SW2. One could not have, spoken about these things. Overnight, you'll be bundled up and beaten up and locked up. And, we know media persons who were beaten for speaking up. But I think today, thank you to the freedom we have in our democracy, we are able to voice out these things and still go home and sleep and eat and get up in the morning. And so mine is that we need to continue to talk for those voiceless people who we expect to defend us. That, like I'm saying, institutions have evolved, but institutions such as the military is taking a very long time, especially for ours, to see the evolution we expect. Even though we usually celebrate the fact that we have one of the best military, we have one of the this, one of the that, I think it is taking us too long, and we should be able to quickly come around.
I like your point. Maybe Rhoda will come in. Sometimes, Father said he was doing the comparison. Do you know how long it took us? I can understand when the US says, it took us about 200 years. The UK says it took us how many years? When you have the blueprint, you cannot also take 200 years to get there. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. There are some growth that have to be organic. They have to go through their normal process of growing. But, I mean, and
that's because it's never happened before.
Exactly.
But if it's happened before...
But, when there are standards that are existing elsewhere, if we don't have any particular reasons why those standards are not compatible with our own context, I don't see why we cannot learn from some of these. We don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time.
Is the US and the UK constitution we put together to get it.
Yeah, so we call it the hybrid.
Why can't we do the same? So we borrowed.
Sometimes we give ourselves a lot of excuses. Yeah. There are certain things that we should be able to do. Sometimes to some of the problems that we even cry over, we don't allow ourselves to sort of think through the issues and see how best we can re-engineer some of these processes. I think basically the point that is being made is about how we can democratize institutions, except for me, though, the point that didn't come out clearly from the narration that we had here is whether there are processes for people to air out their grievances, and that there is a lack of will to take up those grievances. So that's what didn't come out for me. Whether internally there were processes for people to bring these issues up, but then there's a lack of will, either political will or something, to take up these issues. So we also have to be able to distinguish between the nature of the issues. Where is the problem? Is it one with the structures, the institutional processes, or is one with the political will or the leadership? And I think those are some of the challenges I had thinking through these issues. Where is the problem? Is there a lack of will to take up the matters, or that is the institutional processes that are constraining any take-up of these issues?
Father, how do you respond to that same thing?
Well, it will be difficult to say because...
you are the one who said we should go through the journey.
Yes.
We have to jump the classes.
True. But at some point, I think that at some point it's a mixture of both. As I say, when growing up in the barracks, part of it I think is also cultural. Sometimes the person is a grown man or a grown woman, but there's this sort of inordinate fear of the person in authority, and maybe it's not that the processes are not there, but sometimes it's about the fear that if I go to do this, what are the repercussions and all of that. So and sometimes, of course, the systems themselves are not allowing of a free expression of people's will, or if you want, a vindication of their rights. So I'll find it difficult to actually put my finger on the pulse as to exactly how much is due to lack of political will, or how much is due to institutional unwillingness to allow the processes to evolve. But I can say that just from my own little experience, that sometimes it's a mixture of both. And we will need to actually
shine light on it to find out exactly, Rhoda, as you said, how much of which is at play.
Right. So let's get into the areas of, Adabona actually mentioned that the voting process in 2020 was quite peaceful. The voting process was peaceful, is the counting, but you know, the thing is that almost every election, whenever there is chaos, it's the counting process that gives us the chaos. That's a fact. The voting is always peaceful.
But I think before 2020, there were too many people waiting after 5 p.m. But 2020, my experience, I'm only sharing my experience. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I usually would disagree with EC on so many things. But when it comes to my experience in 2020 voting, I say it was very peaceful, and my observation, monitoring, I noticed that most of the polling centers were empty before 5 p.m. I'm expecting that to happen this time around, coupled with the measures they put in place for counting and collation. If all those things add up, those who have been planning to cheat the system and those who have been planning, you hear a lot of things in the atmosphere, and you are not sure which one to pick and which one to leave. And so I am probably comforted by the fact that measures have been put in place, and I am hoping that we can see a repetition of how smooth the voting process will go this year. And now the icing on the cake would be how smooth the counting and the declaration, because if we are able to get one leg of the work properly done, then I think that we should seriously look at the other leg that has been giving us problems. And I am also comforted by the fact that it looks like in recent times, what do you call that? By-elections have become peaceful. The matter of all violent by-elections happen in Iowa West Wagon, just here. Subsequently, we've seen Asen North, we've seen Kumewu, we've seen a couple of them that went peaceful. But by-elections in the past were dress rehearsals for elections. But this, prior to this, most by-elections within the counting, the voting, peaceful, counting, peaceful. It means that we might be in for a shock, and that shock would be our expectations would be, we'll be disappointed. The level of violence we are expecting
to record some violence.
Violence will be disappointed.
And that's where
that is what we all want. That I want to see a serious disappointment when it comes to the level of violence, the sheer violence we are expecting. We are done, and by Sunday, why we are worried? If you are first, you are first. We are gone. Everybody, we return back to our normal lives. And I want to believe that IGP will do his best. Okay. But please, let's also talk about what the Ashanti Regional Minister is doing. We shouldn't go without that.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I just want us to, all right, maybe we should do the Ashanti region first, and then we will actually get into the factors that can affect the smooth process. Yes, and I think we touched on a few with observations of Kodeo, but we'll get into that. That's what we're going to use to wrap up. However, let's get into the Ashanti region Security Council statement that I'm sure producers, you can put it up so that we read the content of the statement. That's important for everybody to be able to follow us, with what was released in the statement. I'll try and struggle and read because I didn't print it out. But if it's there, kindly let's have it there. Ashanti Regional Security Council Directive on 7th December 2024 general elections. Please notice is hereby given to the general public that during the Ashanti Regional Security Council meeting held on Wednesday, 27th of November 2024, the Council resolved to put the following security measures in place to ensure a very peaceful and incident-free environment before, during, and after the general elections. The security of the elections will be the responsibility of the state security. 1. 2. That no vigilante group, macho men, private security, or any other forms of security will be allowed entry to the polling centers. 3, that no motorcycles will be allowed in and around the polling stations. My worry about motorbikes, talk about that later. I don't know. I think it's becoming, now we like the motorbikes and everything. So when you start seeing them around the polling stations, don't talk. Because now that's what we use. It's like the main vehicle for campaigning. I don't know if it makes it easier for us or whatever, but we need to put in measures to restrict their usage, especially on voting day, when votes will be sorted and counted. Now, it goes on to say that no political party T-shirt, dresses, paraphernalia, or any other items embossed with names or pictures of political parties will be allowed at the polling centers. 5, the only Electoral Commission staff accredited political parties polling station agents, accredited domestic and foreign observers and voters are allowed in the inner parameters of the polling centers. How about media? Inner parameters, media will be there. The general public is not allowed to enter the inner parameters with mobile phones or other forms of cameras, and that voters are advised to leave the polling centers as soon as they finish casting their votes. The bodyguards of ministers, deputy ministers, other dignitaries are not to enter the inner parameters of the voting centers. Continues to say that the bodyguards of ministers, deputy ministers, and other dignitaries are also not allowed to carry weapons within and around the polling centers. That the use of toy guns is banned in the region, and the use of firecrackers is also banned in the region. The council wishes to state that anyone who flouts any of the above directive will be dealt with within the laws of the country. Subsequently, it is the expectation of the Ashanti Regional Security Council that all stakeholders will cooperate and comply with the directive to ensure a free, fair, transparent, and peaceful environment before, during, and after the elections. We take the opportunity to appeal to all qualified voters to come out to vote, and we assure everyone in the region that the security is highly ready to protect life and property. It's signed by Simon Osei-Mensah, the Ashanti Regional Minister. And you say that this statement maybe can be taken in a treasonous taste.
But did you see the media there?
No. That's why.
Is he in charge of the Election Security Task Force? How can he be a judge in his own courts?
In the Regional Security Council.
Then the president should have been in charge of Election Security Task Force. The president who appointed him is not allowed to chair the Election Security Task Force of the country, even though the president is the commander-in-chief and the chairman of the National Security Council. There's a reason why the president will not chair, because at every given point in our elections, the president would have been elected by a certain political party. So if the regional minister, unless he's telling us is by this unfortunate notice is put out, he's declaring Ashanti region as a republic. If not, then all of them. Can you imagine we have 16 regional ministers issuing this notice
statement
or this statement? What is going to happen? Because there will be trouble. So for me, I don't know what he thought. And he called, I don't know whether he had a meeting with his security couples, because when the minister is not there, when RESEC chair is not there, is the police regional commander who deputizes the RESEC. And so I'm not sure whether I called all these people together and made this unfortunate statement. It doesn't lie in his mouth to tell us who should go there and who shouldn't go there. Is that not the reason why IGP and his people are leading the chart? So he took out the media.
He's mimicking the Electoral Commission.
The Electoral Commission It's supposed to. Are you telling me the regional minister is independent?
When I say that, you understand what I mean?
I don't.
You know, the Electoral Commission also released a statement.
No, Electoral Commission
telling us who will be allowed.
No. Electoral Commission is within its rights to give us information by the minute, but it is not within his right to tell us how we should go and vote. He cannot be a judge in his own courts. That's literally what he's doing, because then he is there because the president appointed him. The Electoral Commission is there for all of us, per what we know. The law that establishes the position of Electoral Commission and all that, or Electoral Commissioner and the deputies and the commissioners. So they can tell us how they want us to conduct ourselves, if we disagree with them, we take them to court. But if he comes out, so under what authority is he doing this? Under what authority is he banning, is it a bylaw that is banning toy guns? Under what authority is he banning motorcycles?
Okay.
You see, when I say this, under what authority is he doing the things? Well, mine is that let's not allow our emotions and the way we feel creep into what we are doing. Because then, just imagine Greater Accra Regional Minister, Titus Glover, gets up in the morning and he meets his Security Council. Then he issues this unfortunate statement. My regional minister, Simon, in the Upper West region, he also does the same. The one in the Upper East, the one in Bono East, the one there, all of them are talking. Are they undermining the Election Security Task Force? So mine is that I think the regional minister respectfully should be called to order. He needs to be called and told that not even the National Security Minister, Kandapa, my Honorable Kandapa, my big brother, is too experienced to issue a fiat. Even he is the regional security, the national security minister. He cannot do that. And you are calling who should come in there, and for some reason you even left out the media. So, is it intentional? So for me, Annie and viewers, I just think that if the regional minister is listening to me, he would have to come out with a statement withdrawing what he has done, because he is usurping the powers of the IGP and the Election Security Task Force. And the Election Security Task Force is made up of all security heads. He is not a security head. CDS and his people are there, controller immigration, fire, all of these people are there. If they can't attend some of the meetings, they send their reps to be there. You see the military statement that they are not going to deploy. That is enough. You think the military could have just come out on their own? Not even the Minister of Defense, my brother Nitu, will come out and say they shouldn't do, because the military will continue to be the military long when Nitu is gone. So mine is that, please, let's let the regional minister know that respectfully, he does not have the power he has arrogated unto himself. He should leave the work of election security to the IGP and the heads of security and the Security Task Force and the Electoral Commission. If this had come from the Electoral Commission, I will critique it, but you can't say they are wrong. But EC will be talking to us from Accra. I will not have the EC Kumasi telling us something different. Have you heard EC Kumasi or EC Ashanti Region speaking differently from EC J. Manson? So I think that let's let him know he got it wrong.
It's not a federal government where he's a governor of a state.
Well, I think a number of issues come up from what you read. For me, it's the first time I'm seeing this. Now, I'm not sure whether this statement is being issued in the minister's capacity as a minister, or is in his capacity as a chair of the Regional Security Council. Because again, the question is, who are the members of the Security Council, which are the institutions?
So the signature, Ashanti Regional Minister. So we can conclude in his capacity.
So yes, we can have a minister signing off a statement, but the statement is in whose name? Is it in the name of the Regional Security Council? I'm just trying to seek clarification in terms of who is doing what, who is saying what.
So the letterhead is, okay, you can put the letter on the screen. Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. That's the letterhead.
Okay, so it's not the Security Council?
No.
Okay, all right. So
Ashanti Regional Coordination Council.
All right. All right. All right. So yeah, basically we know that is the National Election Security Task Force.
Is there a confusion here? So the letterhead is Ashanti Regional Coordination Council. The letter is signed by the regional minister. So why didn't the regional minister use his letterhead to release the statement so that we can have one, mouthpiece? We know who we're calling out or who we're talking to. So at this point in time, we have to talk to two people. The one who gave us his letterhead and the one who gave us his signature.
Yeah, so frankly, initially, I thought it was coming from the Regional Security Council because then I was looking at, so who are the members? Because looking at the composition of also the Election Security Task Force, it's basically some of these same institutions who are represented. So then who did which deliberation and didn't do all of this through the Election Security Task Force? Exactly. I think it would have been fine. I would have taken it as something like a reminder of the rules of our elections, and for which I wouldn't have any problem with it if it was just basically stating some of the things that we are supposed to do. So, for instance, if we are not supposed to take photographs at the polling station, I would think that this is a reminder to voters not to do that. I think the wording actually is even not taking cameras, because I'm not sure why it says you shouldn't take cameras, because I can go with my phone, but if I'm not taking a if I'm taking a picture, that's a different thing. But I can go with my phone. It doesn't mean that I'm going to take a picture. And so,
in fact, I can go with a camera.
You can go with the camera.
I can.
So you won't take. He's literally just arrogating onto himself
some new
powers, some new
laws,
yes. Which he doesn't have.
Yes.
So, like I'm saying, if they were basically about some of the things like people staying off the inner perimeter of the polling station, I wouldn't have a problem if the minister is issuing a statement to remind voters to stick to the law, obey, respect the laws, and all of that. So where probably the challenge comes from is some of the issues which are not currently adequately sort of addressed by the law, the legal provisions that we have, especially in respect of elections. I also believe that the issue about the media, I seriously believe it was an oversight or something. I don't think any media, any journalist that has been duly accredited by the Electoral Commission will be denied access to a polling station come tomorrow if they visited. So I seriously believe that somebody there was something, an oversight or something with that. So for me, it's about the electoral laws. It's about our national laws. What does it say? And as far as voters are complying with those ones, I don't think I'll be worried about some additional provisions which I cannot really find grounds in law. But like I said, if the issues were just...
I think he was coming from the security background. That from the security background, if there's a national oversight, it is not a federal government, like I said.
Like I'm saying, the Election Security Task Force at the regional level and even at the district level has primary responsibility, right? We have the security agencies all represented on that. We expect that they are taking primary responsibility for security tomorrow. So if we had something like this from them, it would have been good. We don't have it. Doesn't mean that the laws don't exist. The laws still exist, and we all must respect it. Granted that, if the statement has still said, voters in Ashanti region, you are being reminded to respect A, B, and C. For me, I don't have any problem. I don't think it's too much for a minister to add on to just remind you about what you are doing. I don't have any problem with that. The only challenge is some of the issues that are not so clear about movement, whether a motorcycle can go there, versus what our legal provisions on movement of people and all of that. I think those are some of the things that are not so clear that probably...
Father, I honestly believe...
Well, I mean, it would be less than...
because in this case, should something happen in the Ashanti region, is he ready to give us answers?
Yes. Well, yes, as you said, I don't think that he intended to declare the Ashanti region a republic. Because he doesn't have the power to do that, and because no one will give him that power to do that, and because he would not have the support of anyone to do that. So I don't think that that's what he intended to do. Maybe it was getting a little ahead of himself, and
a busybody.
But I'd say that I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. In fact, having sat in a meeting with the IGP when he called us members of the civic society organizations, a good number of what he said could be found in the security details that the National Election Task Force has. some have been presented a little too colorfully in this particular letter. So I'll take it as a regional minister wanting to reiterate, or if you want, represent what is there, but maybe done colorfully in this particular letter. So I'll take it as a regional minister wanting to reiterate, or if you want, represent what is there, but maybe done a bit too enthusiastically. But I don't think that the intention is to declare the Ashanti region a republic. So I think my other brother, Adam, has made his point, and I'm sure that the regional minister has heard him, and will do what is necessary, or maybe not do anything, but let sleeping dogs lie.
We need to be careful, because he has excluded even the media, and until there is a counter letter to withdraw the whole thing he has put out.
It stands.
Say it again.
It stands.
Yes, it stands.
It was so
if tomorrow morning comes and ANI's reporters are denied access into these areas, and you go there and the Ashanti Regional Security Task Force show you this letter, and so point to me where they said the media can come and do their work, you will not have any, because then he's arrogated unto himself a certain
we have the security agencies, but we also have to know that in the matters of elections, it's the Electoral Commission and its officials who have control over the process. Yes. So if tomorrow a journalist goes to a polling station and a security person says you are not allowed to because of a certain statement he or she has seen, I would expect the presiding officer of that polling station to step in and say, do you have accreditation? If you have accreditation, you are allowed access. Yes. And that should stand. That is what our law says, our electoral rule says. The poll official, the presiding officer, is the one in charge of the polling station, and he's the one who can deny access to the polling station. So if a media person goes with accreditation, if you don't have accreditation, it's a different story. But if you have, I would expect, and of course, it also depends on the extent of education and training of poll officials, they should be able to stamp their authority to say, I'm in charge. The security agencies are supposed to step in when there are issues about security, right? Somebody poses a particular threat or whatever reason. Otherwise, it's the presiding officer who has authority over the polling station and the business there tomorrow.
Let's not pretend, and the Ashanti region is, for want of better expression, a little unique in its own ways and the way it does its things, especially during election seasons. And we will make it look like it's normal application of the rules across board. When you get to the Ashanti region, sometimes, if you haven't been there before during election, you will not understand. It takes, I'm sure you appreciate it.
I understand, I've been there, and so I am saying
it's a little difficult to the extent that the regional minister can say something, but if the Otunfo makes a rule, you can't go against what the Otunfo has said.
We don't have to lump so many things together.
I'm not lumping. I'm just saying that it's a difficult terrain. And it is, I think that I agree with Adam Bona that if he's released that statement, he has to release another statement to take it back, because it can affect a lot of things within that particular reason.
Should issue a counter statement to counter and say, because I appreciate where she's coming from.
Because it can be difficult
and saying
for
that
the returning officer.
The elections is our core, that is our mandate.
Yes.
All other persons come secondary. Fortunately, they are working very well this year with the security, which I think is good. So if IGP and his people will not call this man out, will not probably come out and clarify the issues, I think EC can do us the honors by coming out quickly before tomorrow morning. Or else, I'm being honest, because you will get there and an overzealous police officer, an overzealous returning whatever, what do you call them?
Returning officers.
The presiding officers will tell you that you are not supposed to be there. And in the thick of it, tomorrow you will be receiving 1 million calls How are you going to be able to? So send one message.
Giving them these directives,
just one release.
Even the returning officers
to ensure that this thing
taking
is
this
put aside.
directive from the minister.
Well, look, I agree that the possibilities exist. So I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. But I also believe that the High Command of Election Security, I'm sure, has already gotten wind of this. My own brother, Dampare, I think is too smart and to let some of these things slide. So I'm sure he's heard of this, and whatever conversations which have to be had have been had. I can tell you, not long ago when there was the signing of the peace pact at Kempinski, I went up to him and I asked him a particular question, and it was on the toll-free. Everybody. So I mean, I call him the showman. He would make sure that the right thing is done.
He'll put you on the spot.
Exactly. So
Dampare will put you on the spot.
Yes.
Unexpected.
Yeah. So I'm more than confident that even if it is not dealt with publicly, it will be addressed. And I don't think that it will inure to the reputation of anybody involved for this letter to supersede, override what is constitutionally allowed in the country to happen.
All right, we'll have a few minutes to wrap up for now, but let's get into the area of the activities on the day itself. We started. Brother, you want to? Okay. Just give us some minutes. All right, we'll wrap up soon, and then you can go a few minutes. We started with the main activities, and as I made reference to what you said, that the voting process itself was peaceful, but the counting and everything is that.
I also wanted to add to that earlier, but you go ahead.
Okay, so my question is based on the activities we saw, which you recorded, can trigger a lot of things and will make things go wrong, because it makes me fear. In the previous election, we've been having communications about vote buying and how we want to do a lot of things to reduce or suppress the suspicion. So my question is based on the activities we saw, which you recorded, can trigger a lot of things and will make things go wrong, because it makes me fear. In the previous election, we've been having communications about vote buying and how we want to do a lot of things to reduce or suppress the suspicions of vote buying. But now, it is very much emboldened to the extent that you will do it and they will say, oh, there's nothing, what was wrong with that? I think we are just going backwards. I mean, as we're trying to make our voting process or election process better, some of these things are just blotting them and making it very nasty.
No, I mean, I was really surprised to read about some of the things that reportedly took place at some polling station about inducement and vote buying, which we don't expect at all to happen because, first of all, the rules don't allow that. Now, the special voting took place on Monday. The media, I think, did a very good job of highlighting the issues that came up. So that between Monday and now and today, we should have had some communication from the police service or a relevant agency, the NCC, for instance, telling Ghanaians about some of these issues, right, like you said, so that tomorrow we don't go and expect that somebody else will rise from another constituency, a different part of the country, and go and repeat the same thing, trying to influence voters, right? So it's quite disappointing that we haven't had something come out strongly, like in the manner that we saw the letter that has just been issued, something to say, people, this is not allowed, this is illegal under electoral rules, there should be no treating, especially near polling stations. There should be no interaction with people in queue. There should be no selling or buying of votes and all of that. So to the extent that we haven't had any reminders, caution going out to the public, that is unfortunate. There was an earlier issue you raised about the voting process and the issues with the coalition. So there was an earlier point, I think Mr. Bona is the one who raised it, and I I agree that we have seen considerable improvements. Earlier, you were asking about, oh, hasn't our voting process always been smooth? Is it not that? It used not to be the case. We used to have serious challenges with, say, long queues, people having difficulty to locate their polling station, processing of voters and all of that. But for the past 4 years now, the Commission they have done quite a good job here in terms of facilitating the process of voting. So they've split polling stations, they've created additional polling stations, they've capped the number of people who can vote at a particular polling station. It's not supposed to exceed.
But they've also collapsed polling stations without the notification of political parties.
That's a different issue. That's a different issue. But in terms of some of the things that the measures they've put in place, which actually ensure that we had a smooth voting process in 2016 and in 2020 especially. Now, the other side is that these same solutions also ended up creating another problem at the collation centers. So, because now we have a lot more polling stations going to collation centers to do their, to hand over their results, we had some overcrowding, some issues at the collation centers, and some of the problems we had. So we are hoping that this time around, they will be able to rise to the occasion as well and address some of the challenges we had with the collation process, because now we also know that you can have a smooth process, but the collation can mar the beauty of the process. So we already, when I saw the list of collation centers, it appears that they have taken steps to sort of address some of the issues. So some collation centers, where I vote, for instance, the collation center has been moved to a different place, which I believe has some provisions for security and all of that. So we are hoping that we'll be able to have both a smooth voting process and also a concluding part, which is the collation of results.
Yes. Yes.
Father.
Well,
I mean, I think that she sought to highlight some of the positives that the EC has tried to do to ease, especially the voting, process. But like I earlier on introduced, the thing has been a process right from registration time to where we are today. And even from the registration time, I had just some very difficulties with the Electoral Commission as to how it was even organizing the registration process and the centers that people were supposed to go to. There were difficulties of how people had to move. Our cameras were in areas where people were swimming through waters just to cross over to a certain, area to be able to register. And I mean, it made it so difficult that even if the person was able to do it or to register, the difficulty and the cost it came with. You're just not being fair to the
Electoral Commission registration done at the district offices of the Commission.
Yes, the district offices especially. So the Electoral Commission just kept making things difficult, right from writing of names to registration. I mean,
I acknowledge that there have been and there are still difficulties, and I'm sure there will be. But I must say, concurring with my sister and brother, that if we look at where we have come from, we have to acknowledge that some good moves have been made. It is the only way that it will balance the narrative. That a lot of, in fact, when we went to meet Mrs. Jean Mensah and her staff as members of civic organizations, society organizations, she went through, and she and her team went through things with us, and of course acknowledged challenges, but also, at least I personally was convinced about some of the strides which had been made to make the process a little easier. So I want to acknowledge that there are difficulties. So I will agree with you. It's not a perfect system, and so we ought to call out where there are difficulties. But it cannot grow. The system cannot grow if we also don't acknowledge the strides which have been made to make the system a better one. It is only then that when we make calls on them to improve, that will be listened to. So yes, the difficulties exist, and we must call them out. But we must also give ourselves the opportunity to acknowledge the lot of work which has gone into making this at least slightly better than what it has been previously.
So, Mr. Bonawan, before I come to you, let me read an interesting message coming from one of your very own, who probably I would say has become a case study his whole life has become a case study. Chief Superintendent Benjamin Agozo.
No, he is
He
Assistant Commissioner of Police.
Yes.
You have reduced his rank. So.
Yes, I have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. So if you're watching.
He's Assistant Commissioner of
Assistant
Police.
Commissioner of Police.
Chief Support, you get to
Retired.
Chief Super before.
Yes.
Before.
So what rank did he write to the Police Council for him to be upgraded to due to his circumstances?
No, I mean, so if the Police Council would go by, so he will go to DCOP.
Yes.
Deputy Commissioner of Police.
Because he was declared innocent, and we know.
Yes, I'm sure if he was still in service, he would have gone, because I think the issue started way back. So he would have gone either to DCOP or COP. Obviously not the rank on which he retired.
He retired.
Yes, but because of the issues,
yes,
I want to believe that is why. So, yeah.
Okay. So this is what he said. Annie, good morning. Respectfully, we must approach the issue of the RESEC letter from the Ashanti region from informed positions. One, I don't support the matter in which that letter was issued because it appears to undermine the entire national election security architecture, which evolved since 1996. But the bigger challenge is that NESA is not, and that is the National Election Security Architecture, NESA is not supported by any law. It operates on the understanding and goodwill of stakeholders. On the other hand, the National Security Architecture, NSA, is supported by both the Constitution and Security and Intelligence Agencies Act 2020. 4. Legally speaking, on the NESA. Speaking of, NESA cannot take precedence over NSA. So we have the National Election Security Architecture, which is the NESA. And then we also have the National Security Architecture. So the election architecture is different from the national security architecture.
Yes, correct, yes.
So
the election one is temporary.
Yes, yes.
It's temporary.
Temporal.
That is temporary,
right,
yes.
Right. So legally speaking of the NESA, which is a temporal one, cannot take precedence over the NSA. The fact that there is an election doesn't mean that NSA must cease to operate. That notwithstanding, it's important for RESEC in Ashanti region to be guided by the agreed rules of engagement when it comes to election security, and that was highlighted. This is an arrangement that has prevailed since 1996, and therefore I don't expect Ashanti region, that's RESEC, to pull out of the existing arrangements. And 6, I stand to be corrected, but this is the first any RESEC is issued such directive in election time. It appears Ashanti region RESEC has something to hide and must be called out. 7, at the end of the day, we might need some laws in future to support the NESA, which is the one with elections, with structures such as the National Election Security Task Force, Regional Election Security Task Force, and the District Election Security Task Force, if we really want to sustain the NESA. Thank you.
Well, I agree. I think we are speaking the same language. You know me, you know when I said the president...
I think you were just being very,
yes.
Putting in precedence.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know when I said the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the president is the chairman of the National Security Council. But because of the position the president finds himself, there are certain things that ethically, I mean, in law, we have ethics.
Yes.
In law, we have ethics. There are certain things ethically you would not want to associate yourself with because of where you find yourself, or else you'll be called out. So the president, knowing that he was elected on the ticket of the MPP, would not want to be chairing an election security task force, or else you'll be seen to be biased before you start with. And so it's Honorable Kandapa, who was appointed by the president, who himself was elected by the president. And so mine is that for the RESEC Ashanti region to do the unthinkable and do these things, for me, I think we are speaking the same line, and I'm happy. I don't know how long it took for my brother, Dr. Agojoro, to to write this down,
To
because this is
script all
like
that.
I'm sure he's been writing this since last night. I'm sure when I finish, I'm sure he's going to tell me. It's my big brother. But like he said, you see, he said something very important. Law. We need a law to back the Election Security Task Force, even though it is temporary. There are CIs that the Electoral Commission will usually present for elections, isn't it? Yes, we don't have elections throughout the year, but the Electoral Commission exists throughout the year. So let's have a law that will guide Election Security Task Force throughout the year, so they can begin to build structures.
Which will take precedence over the regional security architecture.
No, you see, the Election Security Task Force, you definitely have the IGP here, and every police officer and every police station is under the IGP. You have the CDS, who is here. Every military officer, every military, structure is under him. So if these people come together and formulate a policy, you can't sit in Arakan Barracks, or Mishra Camp, or Bema Camp, or wherever, Kamina Barracks, and say that, oh, as for me, I won't do it. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And so mine is that, just to add to what my brother Agodiro said, let's have a law. I think if we have a law, it will give it a bit more, grounding. It will give it a bit more authority. At the moment, they have the authority to do what they are doing. At the moment, they do have authority to do what they are doing, isn't it? And so we would agree that they have it. The regional minister, I'm not too sure, maybe he has something to hide. If not, out of 15, 16 regions, he's the only one who has come out with this. In fact, excluding those who would help me to see it on my TV at home. He says Metro TV cannot show this. They shouldn't show, constituencies and what is going on.
I mean, for a minister who can stand in a balcony and snop
the caterers. You get it?
Just by the way.
Yeah, so
but
now coming to the elections.
Now that you security experts are raising concerns on this, I want to believe that the exclusion of the media was not accidental.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
within the inner parameters.
Exactly. Why would you? Because then, even our constitution defines the role of the media, isn't it? So I don't see how a regional minister, respectfully, in his own wildest, of imaginations, would exclude the whole. And you see, when the GJA president came here, I was maybe if you had read this to him, then I will see his reaction. I know he's an action man.
Yes.
We would have seen,
I mean, we can forward it to him, and he will take an action.
That the media that he is supposed to be heading by, in terms of association, you have been excluded 24 hours to, an impending election. You've been excluded. And until something is done, you are excluded. Because and look at Ashanti region, it's so vast.
Yeah.
It's so vast. So you go to a village that there are just about 100 people who are supposed to vote, and the media man gets there.
Can we have the registered list of the voters? So we look at the Ashanti region.
You get it? It's so vast. You go to a village, and whoever, if it's a security officer there, he shows you this letter as a media person. They say you cannot come here.
So that's Ashanti.
What are you going to do? Okay.
3,000. Hey. 3,295,000.
Yes, the second largest.
The second largest.
Yes.
274.
So you can imagine, and Ashanti region, because of the topography of the place, is so large. Villages everywhere. And people are going to be voting in all these corners. So if this thing is not counted immediately either by the EC or the Election Security Task Force, or they themselves, coming out to withdraw this thing, mine is that tomorrow we will see things happening, and it will be too late for us to respond. So somebody should take it up and talk about it.
So we're rounding up on this issue of a possible chaos and things that might escalate. And this is a factor.
Yeah, this is a factor in Ashanti region.
Yes,
because we've heard news about, the commanding officer, the military. We've all called him out. The military hasn't spoken. Names have been.
He will beat us.
No. He, the one who said he will beat us, you know, he is a officer in charge of the jungle training school. So I'm sure he thinks we are all in the jungle. He thinks we are in the jungle. He thinks we are in the jungle. So he says, we'll beat you and take your food from you. Ghana is not a jungle. So let him know the fact that you are in charge of a jungle training school and a chance doesn't make you the head of Ghana is not a jungle. Maybe you are the head of the jungle school, but Ghana, seriously speaking, we are civilized. And so that is on the side. But mine is that I think the possible chaos. I want to believe, you see, we might be surprised tomorrow. We might be surprised tomorrow, where we'll go into the elections, and by Sunday, somebody is declared a winner in terms of presidential, and the MPs would have won. Those who would have lost, and they won't have widespread, agitations and the things we are seeing. And let me also call out. I
honestly think otherwise.
That's what I'm saying. I said I want to be surprised.
I was proud of
Let
John
me
Dumelo
add this before
for what he did. So imagine if he had decided to, interfere with the activity of Lydia Al-Hassan at Ayawa Sowoswogon. You could have imagined what would have happened.
All these things,
which is likely to be replicated in the main election day.
I want to believe that we might have learned something, and let's go into these elections. That's why I said I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised. But one other thing that we need to reiterate on this platform is that the military, by their own directive, are not supposed to be out tomorrow. So citizens who are watching Metro TV, if you see a military officer who is heading towards a polling station, hoot at them. Because we are told that in the extreme situation, before they will call them. So mine is that when you see them where there's nothing, they are driving to the place, please drive them away. We don't want any confusion to happen.
When you say drive them out, how?
No, tell them they are not supposed to be here. I have maintained that, no, you see, Annie, no military, you see, I have my friends are generals there. No military has ever defeated the will of the people. It's U.S. couldn't do it in Vietnam. U.S. couldn't do it in Afghanistan. The uprisings in the Arab Spring, they couldn't do it. These were serious military dictators. They couldn't cow the people. So mine is that I am happy our military have sorted this out, and they are saying we don't want. You see, when interactions with them spoke to a certain perception where they feel that they don't know why we are always tagged to be the bad people. Meanwhile, we are not. So I'm happy CDS, upon Pipra and his people, fortunately came out to say, no, we want to stay off, but be on standby until we are called. But you see, there are others, like the 2BN guy in the Western region, who are still trying to do their own thing. And then, you sit here, you have tons of messages coming in. We don't want them to be out until they are instructed to go out. Once that happens, you see, once the military is not involved until they are invited. The reason why I say this, a good military officer will not be sent and he takes his gun and he begins to shoot people. But it is easy to wear any rogue, the green uniform with a beret or whatever, and give him a gun and say, go and do the bad act. But the other security service, the internal people, it is easy to check them. Because if you take the police, they are all over the country. Fire service, they know one another. But the truth is that the person is from national security, but he's wearing a military uniform. IGP and his National Security Task Force and the police, the security, what's the name? Military says that we don't need you tomorrow.
Okay.
We don't need you Sunday until you are invited.
So when they're invited,
when people see the
when they're invited, are they going to make a public statement that listen, now we have deployed?
No, you see, no. What is going to happen is that you see, no. What is going to happen is that, let's say this place is a collation center or polling center, and the police or the internal security people are overwhelmed. You yourself will see it, isn't it? You will see it. You will see that maybe during the year reinforcement. But
We are all here. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Then before you see some of the MPs and deputy ministers, DCs, they are fond of carrying military officers behind them. And they go into neighborhoods and they cause chaos. And so I'm happy. I think that we have evolved as a country to have the military come out and say, no, we don't want the name calling. We want to stay back and watch. I think we should pat the military in the back and say that we have evolved, and they should watch their men, because there are some rogue elements who want to be more political than the politicians. They want to be more political than the politicians. So I'm happy upon Pepper and his people are saying, no, don't get involved. It means that if I see you, I should be able to stop and ask you, Master, I'm not supposed to be part of you. Then I can take a photo of your car, send it to upon Pepper and say, you see, your men, they are trying to undermine you. So those of them watching, please, if you are sent out tomorrow to go to a polling center, it will be an unlawful order. Because if there's confusion, I'm sure the army headquarters will be informed. That because I'm sure I hear that is going to be the thing. Army headquarters will be, because they would inform the security task force, army headquarters, and you have somebody from army headquarters who is part of the security task force, who will then give an order that, okay, we need you to go and help.
It's been detailed in a 5,400 blueprint security strategy by
the task force.
Yes, Dr. Dampari and his people. So it's all there. It's all there. If in fact, even before the military comes in, our knowledge is that at the polling stations, the security personnel who are there will not be carrying firearms.
No.
But in very close proximity, there will be emergency response armed teams who will be able to then deal with it. So we have a good amount of assurance, and so as you say, we hope that our brothers and sisters in the military will wait until they are called.
Yes, they stay off until they are called.
So Dr. Maneboama says that, Annie, let viewers know that they should insist on validating stamps are only unwrapped just before voting begins. And I'm sure this will be for the reps who are supposed to be monitoring the details and the activities they're supposed to. So he said that find the list of items, the checklist that the returning officers and deputies must put in the ballot boxes at the various centers and constituencies where legitimate filing of materials in ballot boxes or filling of materials in ballot boxes will take place. Insist and ensure that validating stamps is wrapped, not naked. So it has to be wrapped. Okay. If it must be unwrapped, it must be unwrapped at the polling station before voting starts tomorrow. So when you get to the voting center, if they bring out a stamp and the stamp has been unwrapped, then there's a problem.
Don't agree.
Don't agree for them to use that. Okay, so the list that he sent, he says that one of the two ballot boxes will be sealed and it must contain the following before the poll starts. 1, 2 biometric verification devices, BVDs. 2 ballot booklets. 3 voters register. 4 transfer list. 5 absentee. That's the special voters and voters who transfer their votes outside the constituency voters list, if any. 4, proxy list, if any. 5, indelible ink. 6, validating stamps, stamp parts, and then printing parts. Note that the difference between indelible ink and thumbprint parts. So the thumbprint part is the one you're giving to put your thumb on and then you stick on the paper. And then the indelible ink is the one normally we will use our pinky finger or any finger you want to dip just to indicate that you voted. But the stamp, the print, that one, you put your finger like this and then you cast your ballot. Serial numbers, sealed, ruler, envelopes, statement of poll forms for both presidential and parliamentary elections, and cleaning dusters. Okay, so this one definitely will be the details for those who are representing the political parties. But just before we go,
I want to add something.
I'm sorry, I'll let you add. Before that, so I've just done some fake ballot paper here. I don't know if you can see. So yeah, so this column has your party, the presidential or parliamentary. And then their logos are here. The extreme end is just empty. That's where your thumb is going to be printed, or you stick your thumb. Now, when you're sticking, just make sure that you're not sticking like this. Because if you stick like this, you might cross the line and it will be counted as false ballot. So you stamp like this, it's safer. You see, like this, it's safer. And then stamp. It depends on which one you are voting for. Please don't go and stamp every. When you do that, you're wasting our money.
Choose the best candidate.
Yes.
The best candidate you think would help put money in your pocket.
We beg you. So don't go and do and waste the paper. That is wasting of our money. So just you stamp like this, stamp.
And who are you going to vote for?
Oh, my vote is my secret. At this point in time.
And you're for
Is the name exposing me? Okay, so
the name is exposing you. So
when you finish, don't fold your paper this way. Don't fold like this. Make sure that after you have voted, let me take a clean paper. After you voted, right? Don't fold it like this.
It should be this way, right?
Don't fold it fold it this way. And that is because you are trying to avoid your thumbprint to stick on another voting area. And that can also be counted as sports ballot. So you vote, first fold like this. And then you can fold it anyhow you want before you put it in the box. Make sure your paper, when it's given to you by the returning officer, they stamp it. Make sure it is stamped. If it is not stamped, it will not be counted. That one, what's it called? That's not sports ballot. That's rejected ballot.
Well, it's the same thing. It will not be counted.
It will not be counted, whether rejected or sports.
And
it won't be counted.
I have also heard allegations about some ink for voting that when you stamp, the thing will not show. So I think that the polling agents, once a while, should test the efficacy
of the thumbprint ink.
Of the ink. They should test. So when they go, I think the first thing they should do is to test the efficacy. Take a plain white sheet with you. When you get there, they open it. You tell them, I want to try. Put your finger on it and thumbprint it. And continue to hold it and make sure the container that is holding the ink is not swapped. Anytime it's swapped, test the efficacy again.
They do that sometimes.
I mean, in security, I have a pen I can give you when you sign. After 30 minutes, the signature will not be there. I have ink I can give you. When you dip your finger, after some minutes, it will vanish. And so the efficacy of the ink being used, for transparency's sake, I think agents who are listening, that is how you check the efficacy. Thumbprint, keep it on the side with you and continue to see. If it vanishes, then you know there's trouble.
Hey, it can vanish?
I'm just telling you that.
Or it can fade out?
It will just vanish.
Hey.
Yeah, it will just, I'm just telling you. You dip your finger. It's there. These are all things that sometimes you can, I won't say that much, but you dip your finger. So you test the efficacy by making sure that you put it on a sheet and put it in your pocket. Maybe every 1 hour, open it to see whether the thing, if it's still there, then you know it's genuine. Because I have heard that and I said that is the only way you can check. The other thing is, from the minister's release, he said when voters vote, they should go home. There's no law that said when I vote, I should go home.
Yeah, when I read that, I felt...
There's no law. We are liberty to move anywhere we want to move to, unless you put restricted area there. So the place they've cordoned off, you can only ask me after voting to leave. I am asking citizens who are going to vote tomorrow that when you are going and you can get a plastic chair, just take it along after voting. Go and look somewhere quietly around, outside the presence of, and sit quietly.
Or better still, you can go and look for some fufu and eat.
No.
And then
you could go and eat fufu, and by the time you come, somebody had come to foment trouble. The reason why the hoodlums do that is when they come, there will be few people because people are voting and going. But when you come and there's a sea of people who who are calmly watching, sitting down, and maybe dancing and doing other things.
It will wall you off.
It will definitely. And so mine is, I have, when you vote, go home, don't go home. When you finish, don't carry any weapon, don't carry anything. Just take your chair. If you don't have a chair, look under the tree, sit there after voting. When they finish counting and everything is declared, and you know that your vote has been counted, you can go home.
But I mean, we're wrapping up. But in security, when there are lesser people, I think the risk of people or persons being affected by violence is also low.
No, you see, my
in
point is that
there were droves of people.
No,
there were
you see,
masses,
Techiman could have been prevented. We saw Techiman coming before the shooting, 2, 3, 4 hours before the time. Some of us had called that there could be confusion. They should deal with it. Didn't you? I'm sure your media people were there. The thing is that we can prevent it. There are some of them that, are you telling me that when people hear that somebody is trying to cheat, they'll still be home? They will run there.
Okay.
And so mine is that the more we are keeping our eyes open, vigilant, and monitoring what is going on, the better for our sovereignty. Because if we go and sleep, you wake up and you hear stories and you are wondering, whose own do you take? And I'm also told that when they do the pink sheets, they have to paste it or something. I'm not sure, madam. I think when they are supposed to pay, I think you should give her the opportunity to take us to polling station.
No, you should give her the opportunity.
The polling station. I'm just asking because I don't know much about. I'm told through the public education by them that, but I don't know how correct that information is. That when after writing, putting the details, they are supposed to put it on the wall. On the wall. I don't know whether that is correct.
At the polling station.
At the polling station. They are supposed to put it there. And once they put it there, people can take photos.
A few words at the polling station.
So
no, I just wanted to correct something that in our attempt to address one problem, we don't cause another. The information that people should stay, I think it can cause problems if you have crowds of people around polling stations. I've heard the Electoral Commission in its education urging people to vote and go back home. I think I will add on to that. We should trust poll officials. If there is a security situation, that's why we have security officials. I'm a citizen. I'm not the one going to arrest, depending on the situation. We want to trust.
We've seen, not to cut you, we've seen Electoral Commission appoint persons that are politically largely exposed.
We see electoral officials in the recent whatever taking money on camera.
So
they were taking money.
So there's deep in trust. Secondly, hold on. Secondly, we've seen our security agencies or security personnel taking food from people they know they are not supposed to take food from in a queue to go and vote. That's another dip in trust.
As for trust, let's talk about trust on Monday or Sunday. For now, let's not trust anybody.
Yes, but it's difficult to advise people who have been exposed to these things and tell them, oh, trust me. When I've seen that you are doing things that I can't trust you.
That we want to now leave the security of the polling station in the hands
No.
of the
You see, unless, of course, when we go to Mokola, we go to KJTR, we go to Medina Market, we go to areas where you have high density, you have people pushing one another. We don't fight. Do we fight? When you go to Mokola today, I'm sure there'll be people pushing one another. But they don't fight. We are peaceful people. So mine is that because I don't trust anybody, I don't trust anybody. I'll close my door. If my door is open, I'll sit by the door, hoping that nobody gets in. So if you tell me that, I should trust, that I should open my door, you go to farm and come. And I come and they've stolen mine. So mine is that, and I still insist, that Ghanaians are peaceful. Those who take advantage of us, I know you look at me that way. Those who take advantage of us because we usually sleep on our rights. Our rights to liberty, freedom, and all those things. There's no law that says that when I finish voting, I should go home. Let's try that through this year and see whether when we are at the polling station and the watcher sellers are selling and we are all buying and eating like we are doing a fanfare, and when they finish the counting, we will fight.
Okay,
no.
The law is clear. There's a perimeter that has been defined. If you are not a voter in queue to vote, you have no business.
Yes, so don't go there.
So please, people should go and vote and leave the polling station. they can go and continue with their business. If they want to hang around somewhere distant away from the police station, that may be fine. But we know we all have different understanding of the processes. You can have people hanging around. They will be having their own interpretation of what the poll officials are doing, and that alone can generate problems for the officials. So, as I said, let's try and stick with the basic provisions we have. So far, I would commend Ghanaians. I think looking at especially the last few weeks, I think we've conducted ourselves very well.
Yeah.
The electoral environment has been generally peaceful, relatively calm. Yesterday, we had two major parties have, and we had parties have their,
I should have spoken about that.
Yeah, their rallies. Yeah. I haven't read about any major incidents or violence or issues that took place yesterday. I believe that we are ready for this exercise. We should all just go and conduct ourselves in a way that doesn't undermine the laws. And I believe that we can do this one more time. Of course, everyone should exercise precaution. We are urging the security agencies to act professionally. We are urging electoral officials to act impartially. And then for the voter to be diligent. If you are going earlier, some of the information that you were talking about, make sure your ballot is stamped. It has the stamp of the particular polling station. You're thumbprinting at the right place, and you are putting your ballot, only one ballot for each of the elections. And then once you are done, yes, during counting, people are allowed to come around if they want to witness it. But to say I voted at 8 a.m., I'm refusing to go back till 6 p.m. That's
I'll be too busy. I'll be too busy to stick around.
When you observe movements at polling stations, you see that people will come and vote and leave. And then around 3, you see that the crowd begins
to come
out. So they will come.
Yes. So exactly. So
they will come. Adikoka has sent me a text message. He said to tell you that they will stay there.
Well, you know,
he said nobody will go home.
Maybe they can afford that, but so that's fine. As long as we do that peacefully.
For me, what I'm saying is that we have never tried that before. Since independence, the mantra has been people voting, and education is that those who want to stay should stay. The mantra has been when you finish voting, go home. And the next day you hear there was some people came and snatched ballot. And so my is that
the question is when you are staying there, what are you doing? Because you will not have access to what the poll officials are doing. Processing of voters. The party agents are closer to the
can I say something?
You. So they are in a better position to assess what is happening, to know whether something is going right or wrong.
But you see, when something goes wrong, they will raise the alarm, and you will have to come and help.
Help in what way?
Of course. You see, no, that's true. No, it's not attack. No. Let me. Can I answer that? Can I answer that directly? Let me answer that. Yes. Usually, the polling staff are usually people who largely are not known, and they do not also know a good number of the members of the community. So the guys who are also brought in to do these things sometimes are from the community. So if the community finish voting and they stay there, and you are from the rented, maybe the compound house I am, and you come and you are causing the commotion, even if I cannot stop you, I know you.
They can help the security.
The fact that you know I know you would let you be a bit, it will act as a deterrent. Okay. So mine is that let's shy away from the fact that when you vote, go home. When you vote, go home. I don't think people go to the polling centers with knives and cudgels and... See, those who want to stay, me, I have said it, those who want me, if I can, they've given me, I have an observer, whatever. I have something to move around. I don't know how they call it. But if I can, I'm urging people, because of the dicey nature of these elections, let's do things different so that we'll be surprised. No violence.
Let's also forgive us the last word.
Also, yes.
You know, I think this election is of consequence. And it's not only because of peace, which I think is the most important of the variables at stake, but also for our own reputation as a people here in our country and across the world. And so we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to show that we have matured over the years within our politicking. I have said this before, and I'll say this again, that I'd rather lose an election peacefully than win it, with violence. Yes. So I think that let every Ghanaian go exercise their franchise and their right sensibly and peacefully, and make sure that all of us are contributing in whatever capacity that we are able to a peaceful, free, and fair election. And I think that is what then will inure to the good of Ghana.
Okay, so this happened today. 2 minibuses intercepted by the police in Western North. The Regional Police Command of the Western North region yesterday, 5th December 2024, at 11 p.m. intercepted 2 minibuses on board persons believed to be thugs. The suspects were sent to the Regional Police Command for questioning, and it did come to the light that these people have no business whatsoever in the region. The suspects allegedly were in to assist in protecting the ballot and was sent by, okay, I'm not going to mention names, but after an engagement with Security Council, the Chief Superintendent at Eduhini, the suspects were made to be sent to Accra under the instructions of IGP. Now, as we speak, these persons are in the Western North. Okay, these are allegations, so I won't read that. The way the statement was carved, I'm careful.
Is it from the police or something?
No, it's a news article that's been sent. Yeah, it's not the police council. So we'll deal with it and maybe interact with the police to see what's going to happen.
There's allegation people being bussed from the northern region to Kaswa to foment trouble. I have seen some photos, but I would urge the IGP and the security task force to have their best to be in Odododio, to be in Kaswa, to ensure that there won't be anyone who would want to take the laws, because I suspect there could be serious violence if we are not careful.
That's one of our flash points.
I think that IGP and his people, the security task force, they should make sure they are very close. But if anybody comes there to do any silly thing, the person is quickly.
Annie, the presiding member is supposed to paste the pink sheet at the polling station after entering all the figures and signed. Adam Bona is right, but they don't normally do it. Let Adam Bona speak more on that. Halidu sent that in. I think he's highlighted it more. Mansa Musa says, Annie, I'm hearing your panelists say we've made some strides in respect of ET's management and organization of elections. I think to arrive at such conclusion, we need to be told which difficulties existed previously, but which have been resolved, For example, while previously it was relatively easier to access registration centers, but recent times, the EC the directive made it hard for its people to get to registration centers. So how come that be said to be a stride in improvement? Okay, right. Yes. Even this point, I actually made it. Secondly, I feel there's no need to engage soldiers or military in the physical voting or election process. I believe for all election issues, the police, which has from a service into force, we should have a police department well equipped and well capable of handling hard issues in civil streets. In all, if people do attempt to subvert the will of the people, all will be fine. For Mansa Musa, okay, I didn't get the sentence well, but Mansa Musa from UK. Thank you, Mansa Musa, for that. Chumbafo says that, good morning, Annie. What is Rhoda saying? Where has she been in her whole life? Can she tell me where the presiding officer for the Techiman South is? That presiding officer disappeared when the count was disputed or was in dispute. He declared the MPP as a winner of the contest, as has never been seen and has never been seen since. Yes, we will stay there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. till the vote is counted. We will protect our vote jealously. Okay, we know that. Because of Electoral Commissioner's bias, you say the opposition needs to be vigilant. Carlos, well, you can't really call the Electoral Commission bias. It might have made mistakes which you don't agree, but not bias for now. Tafa from America says, Annie, when we voted, after voting, we're going nowhere. We'll stand there with open eyes, feely, you say. Okay, I wish you all the best.
Get coffee.
I said, go and eat fufu.
Just get coffee.
Okay.
And so that you don't even sleep.
All right, so wrap up here.
The next coffee people, I think they have a cut. They should mass up around the place.
So
Madam Rhoda,
Sorry to disappoint you, but I will tell you that.
You stay there.
Stay there.
I think we should be clear. My question is, when we say stay there, where are they staying?
They will stand. Which
right?
one is your
I've already
your
told you that there is a perimeter that is defined.
Yes.
No, they are not staying in the perimeter.
That's what I'm talking about. So if people are not understanding me, I'm saying nobody has.
You see the way
nobody
night security
is allowed to stay at the police station, the inner perimeter of the police
but you see
station.
the way night security officers work.
What?
Night security officers. You see the way they work. Have you seen how night security officers work?
I'm not getting your point.
That's how they will behave. They'll be pacing up and down. All right, so Rhoda Osei Afu is from the Center, Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD. We also had Father Michael Kwaku, member of the CFI Executive Committee, that's a civil forum initiative. They've also been very active in our election activities. Adam Bona is also a security expert, and we earlier on had Albert Kwabena-Jumfo, who is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. I am Annie Efua Ampofo, moderated this through, and we're going to continue in the evening, coming through with the proper launch of your election central and its activities. It will continue through into the night. Then tomorrow we'll continue into Sunday. So we'll be here until, like Rhoda doesn't like, we'll sleep here.
I'm not sleeping till Monday.
Exactly.
My activities have started.
There is something called unauthorized presence at polling stations. So we should all check it out.
No, not in the inner parameter.
So
okay.
You see, not in the inner parameter.
All right.
But outside the inner parameter, you would have no basis to ask me to
all right,
go.
so this has been the Good Morning Ghana version of your Election Central. Thank you so much for joining us. And continue with us, because we're going to give you the details. We'll come through with a news beat, and then later we'll launch the Election Central itself. Thanks for watching. For now, we're back again.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing.